did Adam vet Eve correctly?
No, God just gave him to her. He didn't vet.
He just gave him. So that
he
means
said,
that
here goes your wife. So maybe God didn't vet correctly.
That proves my point even more, is that even God couldn't stop Eve from biting that apple. So we can't stop a woman from leaving us, but then we got to sign a contract that incentivizes the woman to leave us. What I'm saying is this. Look, real quick. I got you real quick. Just understand this. So you know that I understand you.
Yes, sir.
Your argument is, well, there are laws that does incentivize the woman if she divorces you. So, therefore, you need to vet properly and make sure you find the best woman, a good woman with good morals and good values. So,
welcome to the show, guys. As you can see, I was on the No Fugazee Podcast about a week ago, and I think we got a little Fugazi. So
yeah, you ain't get a little Fugazi, you got a lot Fugazi.
So right. So I tried to hold his feet to the fire. I got some comments back to say, was it true? Was it not true? But so whenever you are in that position, you let your comrades decide and let them listen to you and get your feedback. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to review my time on the No Fugazee Podcast, trying to find out, where his position is. So,
lost. His position is lost. That's all I can say.
So for those of you who are not familiar with him, he has a podcast, and one of the things that kind of took him to left was he says that you have to use some women for recreational use only. So single mothers, recreational use, don't get involved with them. And then it came out that he's actually involved with a single mother too, a white lady who has 2 kids prior to him. And then he has a child also from a lady. And so he says that he is the exception along with his girl that's the exception. And by being the exception, he was able to procreate with a single mother. And she's different than the rest of the single mothers. So, we had some questions about it. So we're going to review this. So, Ronan, I'm going to let you roll with it. What you think? And I have
let's put it this way. The brother is well known in the red pill community. Some of his idols and people he looks up to, obviously, he has the same talking points as Fresh and Fit in some points, Saint in the Center, and some other red pillars that are out there. So he's a fast growing YouTube channel, came out of the blue. I think he's been around maybe 2 or 3 years and has recently picked up traction. And at some points, great following, great sound bites. He definitely knows how to get some good sound bites out there of, some basic logic when it comes to the red pill and the disadvantages of men versus women in America and in relationships. But at the end of the day, there's nothing original that he has come up with. So he would be kind of like a, what was her name? Pearl?
Mm.
You know how Pearl took all the talking points from Kevin Samuels?
Like that. Just pearly things.
Yeah.
Throwing in
pearly
things
things.
like that.
Yeah. Just right like that. Pearly things picked up the manosphere speak, the red pill speak, and took off from there and was generating a lot of money. But as things and times go by, you can only hide the truth for so long. What he was doing was not being so apparent with his past. He claims he never hid it, but he really never talked about it. And like you alluded to, he's talking all these red pill points about dating and how men should position themselves when it comes to relationships. But yet and still, he was doing something that he was telling his followers not to, which was date a single mother. And he talked down to anybody that was dating a single mother. Now, when it was found out they had a single mother as a solid relationship that they've had for an untold amount of years, in which some children are made, and his rule is he doesn't want to marry a single woman because the government gets involved, or marriage period.
Yes.
And you'll find out there's a lot of double talking going on here. He's very good at trying to dig himself out of a hole when somebody approaches him, especially on his own show.
Yes.
You know,
one
and
thing
I think he had a little assistance on that panel with one guy that was sitting there kind of adding to and taking away and distracting the points that were being made. You'll understand when you listen intently, you understand when somebody makes a point and then instead of answering to that point, they try to turn the conversation to something else by asking a question. What we know is you don't answer a question with a question.
Correct.
But he did that several times.
Now, the one thing I can say that he didn't do to me that I've seen him do was he'll just mute the person. He'll cut them off. He calls them low IQ because they don't understand what he's saying. Yeah. And I let him know I understood what he was saying, but it still didn't make sense to me, the method he was going.
Right.
All right.
Salute the obstacles, the opportunities, my brother. Welcome to the family. Or welcome to the show. This should be a good one. And we'll open it up here in a little while. Are you ready to do did you load the video back up?
No, I'm about to load it right back up.
We'll give you a couple seconds. But anyway, this is a unique individual and a fast mover. And we talked about this earlier today about the younger guys coming up into the YouTube space, being able to talk to those same guys in those age groups and give them wisdom, because as we get older, we're in our 50s and 40s, late 40s. We can't really speak to a lot of the younger guys. We need the younger guys to speak to them directly, and we can reinforce it with wisdom and age. But this is one of those guys, man, that really can be an asset to the Black community or a negative.
Yeah, he makes a funny comment on here, Ian. I'm going to play a few minutes. I'll kind of stop it to try to say what point I was trying to make.
Right.
I don't know if I made the point, and then you guys help me out.
Okay.
All right, let's get a few more other people up here, switch up the panel a little bit. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you from.
Fearless, Dallas, Texas.
Fearless, Dallas, Texas. And you was in the background chilling the entire time I think I seen you in here. Anything that you wanted to speak about or debate about today?
Yeah, questions. So if it turns into a debate, so be it. So quick statement. They say that, I have a daughter. They say that a daughter's first love is her father. He often serves as her primary role model in her life. So I set the standard for any other man that comes. My question to you is, you being a father, and there's going to come a time when your daughter should date. How would you feel if a man came up to you, he's dating your daughter, and he says, yeah, I'm not marrying her, but I'll knock her up? What kind of example, or would you let that happen with your daughter? And if not, why are you setting that example? Because you should be the first example for your daughter. You should set a good standard.
So before he answers, what do y'all feel about that? Because what I was trying to say was, you have a daughter and you keep saying you don't want to get married. What if your daughter met somebody just like you? She meets you and he comes in and is like, nah, you can have my kid, but I'm not settling down with you. We're not going to get married.
Right.
How would you react to that?
Right. And I want you guys to hear his answer before I even rebut to what he says, but it's all based on his answer. So let's play his answer based on why you asked the question.
But here's the thing. You might have to give your answer because his answers really don't come to,
yeah. But I'm going to stop him in the middle of what he's saying. We're going to break down each point and how he's trying to be distracted from the main question.
I'm just letting you know he don't answer right away.
Oh, of course not. He's
at the very end, he even gives some kind of answer.
He tries to get you off your point by changing the scenario to something else. Kind of like somebody we ran into on that other podcast that was a female.
Yep.
Not calling the brother a female, but I'm just saying.
Let's play a little bit. Let's hear how it goes, and I'll stop it.
So you're speaking specifically about marriage, meaning that since I'm not married, but you are making the assumption that since I'm not married by the state, that I want my daughter to be married by the state. That sounds like the assumption that you're making.
The guy says, not even that. If the guy says, "Yeah, I'm not marrying your daughter. She's good enough to have a child with her, but I'm not going to marry her."
Yeah. So that isn't my standpoint, but let's just say hypothetically
again, that isn't my standpoint. That absolutely is his standpoint. And he's going to clarify it later within his answer. You're going to hear him say exactly what he's going to do for his daughter before she can get married to whoever. But listen to what he says. That's not my standpoint. He's deflecting already.
Just give you an answer to your question. If that happened, how I operate with my daughter, I'm going to be in a process of selecting her mate. I'm not going to be in a process of just letting her blow in the wind and talk.
Stop it right there.
Yeah, no.
Within the first sentence, he's already blowing smoke. There is no way in 2024, let alone when his daughter becomes a grown woman that's marriageable age, you can't tell your little daughter right now who she gonna marry.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout time, every time there's been somebody tried to arrange a marriage, the woman or the young girl, she is rambunctious. She goes against daddy's wishes and does the exact opposite. You cannot pick for a woman. You can't pick for your daughter. Mm-hmm. Long gone are the prearranged marriages of this generation inside of America. Now, you want to go to an Arab nation or something like that and get an arranged marriage, go to Ethiopia, an African nation that does that and sets up arranged marriages, you can. But here in the United States, his daughter has rights. Yeah. Where he might not want to include laws, do you think his daughter's going to sit there and allow him to domineer her life? She's a grown woman. And if he raises her the way he talks, there is no way his wife is going to tolerate, or his daughter is going to tolerate her daddy sitting over him or her and telling her who he likes versus who she wants. Remember, women are not logical. They're emotional.
It's not just that. It's like you raise somebody the entire time and you're doing something a certain way. And then you're going to try to tell them not to do, this is the worst type of parenting when you say, do what I say do, don't do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That it never gets nowhere because you have to be setting the example the entire time. And that's what I meant. That's, a daughter's first love is her dad. So if her dad is opening doors for her, he's being nice to her, he's talking to her in a respectful way, that's what she will come to demand from somebody else.
Correct.
So if the guy says to her, well, your daddy ain't married, what you mean we got to get married? How you're right, Ronan. How can he vet that guy? I mean, what stipulations does that guy have to have? Because what if the guy says, well, yeah, I got a baby mama already. What you're gonna say, no, that's not good enough for your daughter, but that's the exact position you in. That's where it gets a little murky for me. And I can understand you can want better for your daughter, but if you're saying to other people, don't marry a single or don't get with a single lady because they recreational use only. At what point did you realize that? Before you got with the single woman or the woman with the children, or after?
But the whole thing is, she's the exception to the rule, and so is he. But let's go ahead and finish off his answer because, again,
but before you go there, here goes my thing. How can she be the exception to the rule when the dude she was with didn't want to marry her?
Right.
You see?
Or maybe they were. I don't know what their history is.
No, she was never married.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't married.
But she gave that man 2 children.
Correct.
I mean,
and so go ahead.
I want to chime this, man. It's like this whole thing about, everyone's against a single mother is ridiculous, man. It's just, I'm a product of a single mother. My stepfather came in my life and added value, helped to help, instill some strong, hard values. And now it seems like everybody like, don't date the single mother, don't date the single mother. And it's just like you have this creep, this weirdo that actually has a platform talking bad about single mothers constantly, but yet dated one. Correct. Had kids with one. Correct. And it's just like, it gets redundant, man. And it's just like, it seems
so
like,
is he talking to get clicks and views? Or
yeah, of course, man. Dude was a fucking loser before having this podcast. He moved in with this woman, this white woman, because he had no money to take care of himself. He was basically homeless.
But he claims to be a six-figure man,
No. He became
let's make this shit clear.
Hold on. I let you talk. Let me talk, man. You spoke long enough. Here's the thing about this YouTube thing, right? Before this fucking YouTube, a lot of dudes were not six figures. Mm-hmm. They just keep it a buck. If you were to remove YouTuber right now, a lot of these dudes that claim to be six figures would not be six figures.
Correct.
So he became a six figure doing YouTube. It wasn't before YouTube. So this whole thing that he's a 6'4", six figure, that don't mean shit. That shit doesn't even make him a high value. Because just about a year ago, he was broke and homeless. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he's talking crap about single mothers, bro, you dated one and this is a white woman at that. And it's like, as much shit you talk about black women, you're dating a white woman. And you put her on a pedestal. And the fact she didn't have one child, she had two kids before you.
Exactly. Right.
So you're the exception. Oh, well, I still date a single mother, but you should not date a single mother is bullshit. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Please, and the thing was, I never found out why she was the exception. Mm-hmm. Because he would say
because she's white with blonde hair and a nice ass.
Well, that's debatable, but I'm just saying.
No, she got a nice body. She got a nice body. I did my research before the podcast. She has a nice body, pretty face. I mean, she's not ugly.
No, she's not ugly.
She and the thing is, she had a YouTube career before she met him.
Mm-hmm. TikTok or something like that.
Yeah, so he just started doing this YouTube thing, which he became a six-figure guy. But if you were to remove that YouTube, he couldn't keep a job.
I would dare say he probably sponged off of some of her followers to build up their joint channel because they have a family channel together.
And most family channels do quite well on YouTube, especially interracial family channels.
Correct.
That does really well. So what he did, he off-branched off of that to start his own thing.
Correct.
And he's not part of the red pill community. He's not. He's an embarrassment.
All right.
My question, and I think I get to it.
Well, let's get to it first. Let him finish his point where he's already capping about how he's going to guide his daughter into making a decision for the man that he's picking for her.
The guys and date guys.
I just want to say salute to the chat. Thank you guys for joining. We'll go through some of your questions later on. We just want to put this guy on the grill and keep him cooking.
And she makes that decision on her own. No, I'm going to be the main decision maker when it comes to choosing her mate. Mm-hmm. With that being said, currently right now, the laws doesn't benefit a man. It only benefits the woman to get married. So I could look at it and say, well, hey, I want my daughter to reap all the benefits, but I don't want the man to reap all the benefits. But I know that isn't good.
I'm going to stop him there. And I might get pushback. I'm not saying the laws hinder men. The laws benefit the person with the money. When that one little actor married Halle Berry and he got divorced, he got the money. Adele had to pay her dude. So I think it benefits. And look at Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige is paying her man. So I don't think marriage benefits the woman. It benefits the person who doesn't bring anything to the table.
I would tend to agree with you, but a lot of people that are in the lower income echelon, it's going to be a rough fight for you to get preference based on how the mother is present in that child's life. But
no, hold up, Ronan. Take mother out. I'm just talking. We're going on marriage first, just marriage.
Okay.
No kids. So if we got married, we don't have no kids, then it just either becomes
Y'all just walk
alimony.
away. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
y'all
It
just walk
doesn't.
away. Yeah.
You're not paying alimony, and
I
if
mean,
you
I've been in
did,
that. I've been in that with a stepson, and the stepson
exactly.
wasn't mine, so it had nothing to do with me. You know, we never had any children together, so I basically said we had a big enough house, we had double everything. Pick the couch and the furniture that you want. I'll take the couch and everything that you don't want. I'll take it with me. Boom, boom, boom. She filled out the divorce papers in Georgia, sent them to me in Kansas. Wham, bam, I was done.
Exactly.
And there was a child involved, but it was a stepson. It wasn't my child.
So that means you guys basically sometimes split up the assets. Sometimes there really ain't no assets to split up. You know, and it's very rare that somebody
she has access to. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless you making buku amounts of money, and you should have had a prenup at that point. But if you just came into it and guys are both broke, and you leave with just a little bit of money, because usually if you came into it broke, she came into it broke, y'all both working. It's going to be rare that now all of a sudden you just married her and now you taking care of her and she's a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't have anything, and then you leave her. That's going to be...
Well, in my case, I still took care of her. She still stayed at home. Even though we didn't have any children together, she still had a child that was young. I married her when my stepson was 8. So I still took care of the household. She still did the wifely things and everything else at home. I didn't require her to work. She took care of her son and me.
And then
that was the
also,
requirement.
Even if, just say worst thing, you do have to pay some alimony. I think Florida and them are capping it off like at a year or something like that. So a year compared to 18 years, it's a whole lot different. Yeah, he's not going to take it. No, he's not. You can tell on the show he doesn't take advice from me. So let's continue on and see how much advice he takes from me.
Isn't good for a woman to have this perception, this perceived power that if I don't feel a certain type of way, I could just leave this man and I can get half. I can collect alimony and all of these things. I can reap all of these benefits from this man. It's not good to have that mindset. Men lead, women follow. So what I would tell my daughter is you can get married by the state if that man wants to marry you by the state. If that man doesn't want to marry you by the state and he wants to just marry you in the church, that is also good. I wouldn't say that that's bad. You can still get married in a church, and that's a beautiful thing. When you peel back the layer to all of this, though.
Hold up. He just said it's okay to get married in a church.
No, in a church means you just going through a ceremony, but you don't have a license. That's what he means. We get married in the church. There's a pastor there, but we are not.
Is he trying to set up the guy that's marrying her or his daughter? Because if he's telling his daughter not get married by the state, isn't he screwing over his daughters as far as what rights she's supposed to have with state law? He's putting her at a disadvantage. What kind of father is going to put their daughter at a disadvantage? So he's already double talking is what I'm saying. He's already double talking. Because truthfully, if he was wanting the best for his daughter, he would put his daughter in what? The best position in order to benefit from a marriage to another man. He shouldn't be defending the guy that's marrying his daughter.
Yeah, but what he's saying is...
Luke raise for the $2 super chat. Happy New Year's, my brother.
Yes, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, brother.
But go ahead.
What he's saying is, Ron, is his rules are universal. And you'll hear him say that. That meaning it doesn't matter if it's his daughter or not his daughter. His rules about marriage are the same. I don't know. But my thing was, like so you're fine with, and right before this, and I think I allude to it, he's talking about how the culture has eroded, how rap music, used to be different, and hip hop back in the day was more political and pro-black, and now it's just about baby mamas and sluts. And he's saying how the culture is bad. I'm saying you kind of contributed to that bad culture, with the things you do. But I guess what he's on this aspect, he's saying, hey, you can get married in the church. We're just not going to put no paper together. And it's beneficial for the woman because the woman will, she has an incentive to leave. And that can be when there's a big disparity of income. But usually when in this day and age, the average man, y'all making about the same amount of money. You know, you're not killing her with the income. You're not tripling what she's making.
I want to say this, man. A lot of guys want to talk about, you know, sign that prenup, or, you know, you worry about that child support. Most guys ain't really making money like that to be worrying about that. And the thing is, if you were a successful brother or a successful man, you will be very careful who you select and who you decide to come inside in.
Correct.
So it's like if you worry
Travis
about
Hunter.
I'm sorry?
Hunter. Travis Hunter.
Well, she ain't pregnant, so he's still smart enough not to get her pregnant.
But we don't know if you don't. Yeah, you're right, but you don't know where he's shooting this shot. But go ahead.
I mean, all I'm saying is just like this whole notion about you worrying about the court system being your business. As soon as you have that kid, the court is in your system, is in your business. That child support ain't going away, and she can get more every year if she wants to, if it's justified. So this whole notion about, you know, you don't want the court system in your business, it's going to always be in your business. As long as your child is in this country, I can call the Department of Child Services, the court is in your business.
Correct. And that's where he already blows his theory.
Yeah, and this whole thing about, you know, you want about women taking your half. Look, let's just keep it real. Most guys don't have much to give away. And the thing is, if you be careful how you spread your seeds, you don't have to worry about that.
Well, you're going to hear me make that point, brother. I'm going to make that same exact point. So let's hear him go a little bit further.
Peel back the layer to marriage and signing a paper or married in a church. When you peel back the layer, what it is it's a man and a woman in a committed relationship. And if it's the dynamic of what I'm speaking about, which I'm sure that you would agree to too, is a man protecting and providing and a woman being submissive and following a man's lead. You would agree to that type of dynamic in a relationship, right? Cool. So the woman, there's not much benefit, meaning from the physical standpoint, there's not much benefit or anything that will really change from a marriage and, you know, a serious committed relationship. There's a few benefits, like some tax benefits and, you know, other little benefits like that, but there's not much. There's not a difference between the love that you have for your woman when you're not married is going to be the same love that you have for your woman and she has for you when you're married.
Let me stop him there. There are certain benefits, and especially in his situation. Example, if you married, you know, as a marriage, I can make some medical decisions. I can, there's some things that I have the right to that just as basically he a boyfriend. I can make sure that if, say she goes down and I got the kids are there and I got to make a decision on them kids. If I'm the stepdad, I can
it's called
make
a medical power of attorney. And if you don't have one as a boyfriend, you don't have any say on what goes on when it comes to her medically when she goes down. You are not a direct relative.
He can be living with her. Say something happens to her and she's in the hospital. The family say, we don't want him in. He could be with her 10, 15 years. They say, nah, what we say goes, not what you say goes, because he's just a boyfriend. And he keeps saying he is stepdad. He's not a stepdad. He's just her boyfriend.
He's a rent payer for somebody else's kids at that point.
Correct. And there's tax benefits because now he's taking care of that entire family and he can't claim them on his taxes because he's just a boyfriend. So all those things that you think, it doesn't matter, all of that stuff matters. All of it.
But here's the difference in what he just said too. He's talking about church and state. So when you infer church, that means you believe in God in some way, fashion, or form. So if you're saying it's good to get married in the church and go on the laws of God, you're telling your daughter that certain laws don't apply. Because God says honor the laws of the land.
Oh no, he goes beyond that because he constantly says, "I believe in this order: God, God over man, man over woman, woman over child." And I try to bring up, you only bring up God and religion when it's benefiting you.
But you don't believe in it, right?
Yeah, but when it's fornicating and other things, then God goes out the window.
Yeah, we can sin all day long, but
and that's what I hate when somebody does, especially when it comes to religion. You can't. It's a buffet. They pick and choose
when and why they want to be a Christian, and then the rest of the time they not. They living out in the world.
Exactly. What say you, BMT? Canal, what you got?
Black Man Travels.
Black Man Travels. What you got, brother?
I mean, I agree with you completely, Fearless, man. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I just see things a little bit different. Having a daughter, for him to have that mindset is kind of sickening. It's like, dude, this is what you expect your daughter to experience. Like, you're going to have full control. You picking her husband for and all that within the United States. It's just weird, man. And I don't know, man. It's just like, listen to this guy. He doesn't answer the questions directly.
Nope.
He danced around the questions, and he just talk shit, man.
And before he answers the question, he's going to ask Fearless about 5.
Yeah,
he never gets around to answering the real question.
I just feel like, if this was a true debate, Fearless will run circles around him real quick.
Oh, believe me, his chat was
saying
he's running in fear. When Fearless came in the room, the chat went off like, "Oh yeah, he's scared of him."
And what I found out his style is, though, is he'll ask 15 questions, and he wants you to agree on something. So if you agree on it, then it's like, "Oh, we agree," even though you don't.
I don't know. I just feel that
he's using some basic sales techniques to me. When you get somebody saying yes enough, then they're going to agree with what your point of view is. But if you get some kind of pushback, then you got to get them warm enough to get them to say yes. I do psychological sales all day long. Done it for over 35 years. I can hear when somebody's pitching. I can hear when somebody's trying to sell you on something. And I can hear when somebody's trying to guide a conversation. I've been doing it way too long.
And what he also did, if you know that technique where you leave somebody in the room, you ice them. I was backstage because I was talking to you. I was like, man, I'm backstage. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there watching you and Black Man Travels, who was live too at the same time. And I'm bouncing between 2 channels trying to figure out when you were going to go live.
So he iced me. That was a good technique. Let's go on a little bit.
Marriage and signing a piece of paper does not change the fact that you love this woman and you will take a bullet for this woman if it comes down to it.
So
you are committed to it. Committed to her.
I'm glad you said that. You said
the only thing that changes, really, real quick.
You would take a bullet for this woman. That means you would die for a woman, but you wouldn't marry the woman. That's confusing to me. Why would I give my life to someone who I wouldn't die for, and I'm scared that she would take half my money, but I'm not.
It's not as scared.
My life to be taken.
Man, dude, you got him on that one. That is like, if I'm willing to take a bullet and die for my woman, I'm willing to marry her.
Right.
That's the only way.
Yep. And you're okay with dying.
But here's the thing. His hesitation is all about keeping the government out of your business. But the whole point is, once you have a child, you put the government right back in. So you circumvent your rule.
Exactly. And I
But
was trying to say
nobody
to him, bro, you scared of somebody taking half your money, but you're not scared of them taking your life? I mean, your priorities is a little different. You can take my life, but you can't take my money. I just didn't understand that concept. And maybe I was off a little bit, but Kanal, you're right. It's like, I'm going to put my life on the line for somebody I'm unwilling to marry. And I don't want to marry you because you got an incentive to leave me. Well, hell, I don't know.
I bet you anything, Fearless and Roland. I bet you 2 years ago, this whole not getting married, prenup, taking half of my money. He wasn't even talking that shit because he ain't had nothing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He had nothing to be taken away from. So now that he has a little podcast and he's making some money, and it's just like, again, if you were to strip this away from him, he's a loser.
But listen,
I think,
don't you think
he's
his
still a
woman?
loser.
Don't you think his woman is all for what he's saying, even though she knows he ain't following through on it with her?
I mean, she's part of the gimmick, man. It's like she knows what she's doing. He's doing it all for the YouTube. So
exactly,
hey, don't date
my
a single
point.
mother. So for her, it's like, hey, listen, that money's coming to my house.
Exactly,
Because guess what? He's living in her house.
Mm.
So she's benefiting from him talking shit, especially talking shit about black women. So she's just sitting in the back collecting them checks. Because trust me, if she would have put that dude on child support, he wouldn't like that.
Nope. And that's gonna be my question to him. So I hope I'm going down the right path. If I say something wrong, y'all let me know, step in, correct me, because sometimes in the heat of the moment you can't think of certain things to say, or they take you in a different direction.
Sometimes
and I think
you like the rapid fire questions, brother. You get into it, and I'm like, yo, slow down, bro.
Yeah, I do. I don't let him answer because I'm always thinking ahead. And I think here he tries to mislead me by saying scared.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh,
that's
boy,
where he tried to get me. Hold on, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not as scared as acknowledging truth. So acknowledging truth doesn't mean that you're scared. Like, I can acknowledge that,
All right, let's take scared out of it. Why would you give your life to someone but not be your wife to someone?
Yeah, so
because it's like you're saying, I'm okay that someone takes my life for her, but I wouldn't be okay if we got divorced and she took money from me. My life is okay, but my money is not.
no, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
that's
exactly what he's
saying.
That's exactly what he's saying. That's what I mean by the double talk. He's saying something, but then he'll back it up and say, no, that's not. Yes, that's exactly what you just said.
Well, here's the thing. He pretends like he's the intellectual one, and he's not. He's far from it, bro. It's like, bro, I could run circles around you, man. And it's just like, just because you got a nice mic and you got that little voice you have, you think you could outsmart someone talking.
Hey, Justin, please don't spam my chat, bro. I will block you. I don't mind you commenting, but that's ridiculous, bro.
I just feel that, for him to say that is not the same. It's like, wow. Okay.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking when he says, I'm not. When he said it's like, that's not what I'm doing.
That's not what I'm saying. Yes, it is.
if a man is in a committed relationship with a woman and he loves this woman, the natural thing of what you agreed to, which was the presupposition, the relationship where the man protects and provides for the woman. When a man is protecting and providing for a woman, it's not like he's forced into doing that, or he has to think about doing that. Like, if someone comes up and slaps your girl butt, it's going to be a natural reaction to grab homie and punch him. You don't have to think about this. It's a natural reflex of being a masculine man and a protector and a provider. So that's going to be the natural instinct to, if someone was, hypothetically, someone was pointing a gun, like, oh, you're going to move your chick and move your kids. Like, men have this natural instinct of being a protector and a provider. So when you're signing a contract, when we're speaking about signing a contract, that's just being aware of the truth. The truth is that women are incentivized to break that contract. That's not saying that we are afraid. That's saying that,
that's not a truth.
Exactly.
That's an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. and the fact that he tried to throw so many words just to say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, bro, just say yes or no. Well, you have to throw a whole, assault of words. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know, man. This guy.
But that's what he tries to do. He thinks, if I use some big words, if I do this, I'm talking beyond you, and you don't have the IQ to understand.
Back to the supposition of the point we were trying to make earlier. Right. Calm down.
And the thing is, he's like, he keeps going back about men being a provider and protector. That's all men, regardless if you're single, married, or not. It's just in our gene. We'll protect and provide for our sisters.
Correct.
For our mother. If that woman is within our circle of loved ones, we will do whatever we can to protect them and provide for them if they need it. So to say that a contract changes everything, it's bullshit.
Exactly. Let's hear what else he has to say.
Think about this, right? Let's just use that same logic. Well, I'm going to protect and provide for this woman. So therefore, if I'll take a bullet for this woman, she should wear the boxers in a relationship, and she should tell me what to do since I'll take a bullet for her anyway. That's what that same logic.
I don't understand that logic, brother. Did you see my face on here? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, it says it on your face. Like, where did that come from?
I have no idea.
He did that. I'm like, yo, he didn't say nothing like that. And what does him being a protector, provider deal with a woman putting on boxers and acting like a man?
Hey, if he's saying this right now, man,
then a woman doesn't need to do those things. So why are you bringing them up as if they were needed to be done or even spoken about?
I ain't gonna lie. I like my girl could, wear them damn boxer shorts, boy. Wear them boxer shorts all day.
Okay, but
I'm with you.
Work.
Yeah,
that's
when y'all said that,
he put that up.
Exactly. When y'all said that, that's exactly. You can look at my face like, man, I don't know what the hell you talking about, man.
The thing is, he could get the young dumb dudes that just don't know nothing. But when you start speaking to someone who's a veteran of life, that experienced life and has been around and don't have a problem meeting women, he can't do that smart shit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna show you a point that I wanted to say something to him, but I just thought maybe it wasn't appropriate.
It was towards the end. I already knew where you were going with that. I watched it. Yeah.
Well, let me finish. That's what that same logical entailment would mean, because we'll just let whatever the woman wants, we'll do. No, the woman wants the marriage. If she wants the marriage, I'm not signing that freaking piece of paper. That has nothing to do with me protecting and providing for you, though.
Question. You could sign a piece of paper. This is just a prenup could get you out of pain, but procreating with the woman doesn't get you out of pain. You're going to pay child support no matter what. So why would you procreate with a woman that you didn't trust enough to marry?
And that's a contract.
I say that because you say.
Let me stop that.
The law.
Yeah, I'm trying to stop it too. Cause that's it right there. That's a home run hit,
dude. The fact that you paying child support, that's a 20-year contract.
Exactly.
Not 18
in some states.
Not 18. No, actually, if your child's going to college, you still have to pay child support.
Yes.
So that's why I say 21 years contract. So for him to say that, like, bro, that one child,
it's a better deal to sign the marriage contract than it is to have a child.
Yeah. At least that's what tax benefit.
That's what I was trying to say to him, because he kept saying the bad. And I'm saying, well, bruh, if you don't vet a woman and you marry a bad woman, it's not okay.
Don't mean you're out of the woods.
Yeah, I would say you did better just by marrying a bad woman than procreating and having a baby with a bad woman. So if you say I don't want to get married, but you have a kid with her, man,
not
she can really ruin your life.
Now 2 children he's had with this woman. 2.
Yeah, because if you marry her, you might be off the chain, like say you had to pay alimony. That might be a year, 2 years or something. And say you didn't even have money to pay alimony. You still going to pay child support. And every 3 years, she's going to take you back to court to try to get more money. And then in that, and then you say how bad the woman is. She can manipulate how your child is raised. You're just going to be a weekend dad. She has so much more influence.
She might have a stick up her butt. She sees you with the new woman. All of a sudden, now you're going to have to take her to court to see your kids. She don't care. It takes her time or your time to have to go to court to file to get your kids back. She's doing it out of spite. Honestly, you've given her more control on your life by having a child than getting married.
I'm going to say this, man. I think it's worse impregnating a woman paying child support for 21 years that you never care for
Exactly.
and getting married.
Exactly.
That's worse. That's worse, man, because you don't know what type of hell you're going to go through for the next 21 years, man.
Yeah.
And at least when you divorce, you kind of out of the life.
Yeah.
Man, if you get divorced when the child is 5, man, she can manipulate you for another 15 years, man. Emotionally manipulate you. You can see a child, you can't. And it's like, it's your child. You know, you can say, oh, this is Canal Jr. And they like, well, why Canal Jr. act like that? Why he feminine? And he like, bruh, I see him, once every 2 months. So he's your blood, he's your relation, but you have really no control, nothing over him.
Right. No leverage.
Yes.
At least as a married man, you got rights.
Exactly.
Even as a single father, you still have rights, but I think it's just more hell if you actually impregnate someone you never care for, and she has her child.
There's plenty of brothers right now that will testify to the same thing that you're saying.
I mean, as of lately, there's been a lot of dudes often they single moms, man. I'm like, man, is it really that serious?
The way these women talk to you and disrespect you nowadays, I can see some brothers losing their minds, or people, men. Period. It's not even brothers. This is just across the board now.
So, I mean, for him to say that, and he's giving these younger guys, he's definitely misguiding a lot of these younger guys about the whole notion of marriage and having the child outside of marriage.
Exactly.
Right. Salute at your wife's house all day. Gotta love that. Good morning to you from John T.N. Patia. Go ahead and hit that button.
9 in the morning there. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's see what tangled weave this brother weaves now. Let's see. I try to nail him down, but he's
squirming.
Yeah, he's squirming.
You're the exception to the rule. That's what you said. So why would you be?
Wait, what you talking about?
Just in general, you said, hey, this is what I was really talking about, Ronan and Kanal. He's the exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. And the woman he dated are the exception to the rule. But he procreated with a woman who was not good enough to actually get custody of the child. He has custody of his first child. When somebody tells me that, and especially in the West, where it's very difficult, you have to almost prove the woman incompetent in order for the man to get custody. So that lets me know that you procreated with your first child with a woman who was unworthy.
Facts.
I just don't see no way around it. Because in order for the courts to say, hey, I'm going to give you the child, either that child is like 13 and says, I want to live with you. The mom is saying,
straight jacked up.
Yeah, the mom just saying, I don't want the child. But if that mother says, I want the child and child support, I mean, you have to basically, you can't even prove just a little bit of incompetence. You have to prove she's neglective, that there is something very seriously wrong with her. And so my question to him was, why did you procreate with a woman who would not make a good mother? That would be the question. We talk about that with guys all the time. We ask those women, why are you sleeping with a guy who wouldn't be a good father? Who is, whatever is wrong with him. Why you have a baby with him? So we got to hold the guys to the same standard.
Right. But the whole thing with a guy trusting a woman is you're trusting that woman with your legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your generations that you're bearing with that woman. You have to trust her with whatever you're building as resources and assets. That's going to your children.
Correct. I don't know.
I'm the exception. Like when you had a child and you had ownership of your child or custody of your child, why would you procreate with a woman that wouldn't make a good mother? That would be one. Number two, you say that your wife was the exception. If my wife is the exception, that means I vetted her. If I vetted her, I trust her enough to procreate with her because she's going to be a good mother. That means I would trust her enough to be with her. So have you not vetted the person correctly? Because it seems
no.
you're saying I don't want to get married to the state because she may take my money.
No, it's just
your money by having children with me.
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's the point that it incentivizes.
Let him finish. I want him to finish the answer. But no, he doesn't.
The woman to leave the man. So the thing is this: why you if you want to get
there's that look again, because of what you just said. You said if you have vetted the woman properly and you trust her enough where you're gonna die for her, you're gonna trust her enough to have your child. Then he double backs and says, well, if you can't trust her, then you just said the same goddamn thing. Matter of fact, let me run that back real quick, just so you guys can hear
my money.
No, it's just
your money by having children with me.
Well, I
say that your wife was the exception. If my wife is the exception, that means I vetted her. If I vetted her, I trust her enough to procreate with her because she's going to be a good mother. That means I would trust her enough to be with her. So have you not vetted the person correctly? Because it seems you're saying I don't want to get married to the state because she may take my money.
No, it's just
your money by having children with her.
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's the point that it incentivizes the woman to leave the man. So the thing is this.
Did you hear it?
Yes. I would think, and I tried to bring this point up to him. A woman don't have to get married to take your money. That's what happens.
All she has to do is have a kid.
Exactly. You worried about the wrong thing, man. You worried about her taking your money, but you gonna have sex with a chick who is crazy. She gonna take your money.
That is the number one game breaker of all. Women having babies out of wedlock to lock you down. What the hell are you talking about? This brother skipped the whole line when it came to fucking street smarts. Women will trap you with a baby before they even ask you to get married. It's by default you married a woman because she's pregnant.
I'm going to let you address at your house, at your wife's house all day. I'll let you go.
Yes, I appreciate the 400 Thai baht. Thank you for the 400 Thai baht at your wife's house all day. He said a man don't benefit from marriage, period. Marriage is literally just a one day now in 2024. You sign the paperwork and you have just signed over all your years of hard work, literally supporting a bum. Because that's what the woman is. If she's not providing for herself, she is literally working and striving just so she can reap all your hard work. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing. Why would you marry a bum? I got to put it back on
because she's a pretty bum. Hold on. Don't forget she's a pretty bum. But she's still a bum nonetheless.
But if you a guy, one, why would you marry a bum? Why would you marry a woman who is not contributing to you? I can't blame the woman. I got to blame the guy.
Correct.
If you marry a woman who's not bringing anything to the table and she's not doing anything, yeah. And number two, if you marry a woman who doesn't have anything and you have everything, of course, when you get divorced, she's going to be entitled to something, especially if you, for years, you got 10 years, she ain't working, do nothing. Yeah, she's going to be entitled to something. But what type of woman are you marrying that's not doing anything like that? Usually in today's age, if a man is making 80, his woman making 60, or he making 40, so she's bringing something. And usually when they split up in that sense, y'all not getting nothing unless y'all bought something together. If you bought a house together, that should mean her income is going to the house, your income is going to the house. If you have a 401k, she should have a 401k. So none of that gets split. So if we're just talking about marriage and you leave, all y'all doing is splitting the assets that y'all created when you were there.
Right.
Now, the way he talking is though you leave and then you paying alimony for the rest of this woman's life.
Obstacles. Please take notes because I want you to explain what you feel like he's trying to say. I think you say you get it. So we're going to open the panel in a little while. So please write this part down and go ahead and get your synopsis of what you think he's trying to say in that part. We really want to hear your opinion.
And same with you at your your wife's house all day. Yeah, maybe that's why you should get married, because you at somebody's wife's house all day, brother. That might be the problem. That may be the problem. All right, let me press play.
Why if you want to get married, you can get married in the church. Why not get married in the church? So here's the thing.
Why haven't you gotten married in the church?
I got you. Here's the thing. Is literally no way that any.
But you see, he didn't answer that though.
No,
so he tells guys not.
The question.
Yeah, he says don't get married with the state. You should get married in the church because it's a union. So my question is to him was, okay, if we take the state out of it, state ain't in it. Why haven't you gotten married in the church? Because now,
man, PT, please.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, he was just talking to somebody in the background. Yeah. Go ahead, Felix.
No. So my question is, marriage is bad. Church is good because church shows that you're providing, protecting, and you're committed. Then why haven't you got married in the church? Why haven't you committed to this woman that you're having 2 kids with? That she is, in a sense, because his baby mama is out of the picture. So basically, this woman is serving as your child's mother. Right. Why haven't you done it in church then?
But here's the premise he's even saying with married in the church. He trusts a woman with his children versus trusting a woman with his money. But yet and still they're one and the same. Your children are your money.
Yep.
Your children are your assets, your liabilities. Your children are your resources that you're building to give to. So while you might not trust the government and her with your money, you're going to trust her with your children who are also going to inherit your money, which means she's going to be the one that controls your money while they're growing. And hopefully there'll be some left by the time they're grown, unless you put it in a trust. And that's a whole nother topic.
But I think you were correct when saying you want to get married in church to keep the state out of it. But as soon as that chick have that baby, the state is in it. Because all she has to do is file something with the state. I want child support. They are in your business. They in your business, they in your paycheck, they in your life.
For the next 26 years, at least.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
All right, let's hear what else he says.
Human being can defeat the argument that, because I'm only speaking the truth, I'm not giving an opinion. When you're speaking to me, when you're speaking, you're asking questions, you're making assumptions, in which your assumptions was incorrect. Just to let you know,
you are giving your opinion, sir. You are not speaking on facts. You're speaking on your limited knowledge because you said you've never been married. Here you got guys that are sitting here, been married, been through all that. So you're pulling from a pool of information that you either read because there's no experience there. So it is your opinion. It is not based on any premise of you living it.
Correct.
That's a difference.
He has no knowledge that some woman would take half because he's never married.
Assumptions that you made about my woman or my situation, it was incorrect. So you're making assumptions and you're giving opinions.
Secondly, he said your assumptions that you made were incorrect were all documented and said on other previous podcasts that he's had. If you go back and listen to his body of work, nothing you brought up, including him saying he's the exception to the rule, right along with his woman being the exception to the rule, being a single mother and having children previously to them dating, and then him also having multiple kids by the same woman. She's the exception to the rule. He said that multiple times on his podcast. There's nothing you said that was an assumption. It was all based on prior things that he has said. So he's lying right there, and he's not backing it up by saying, this point that you made was incorrect. This is what I said. This point that you said was incorrect. This is what I really said. He has not said anything. He's just glossing over it by saying you're incorrect.
And the one thing that I just had said prior to this was, why didn't you get married in the church? And I'm not assuming, because he said he's never been married in the church. So how am I making the assumption that he hasn't when he said that he hadn't been married in the church?
But he went so far as to ask you if you were married.
Yes.
And you had no problem with telling him, yeah. But then he started to try to insult you because you were, but that's coming up.
I haven't gave none of those assumptions or opinions at all. I'm just stating what's true. And what's true is that it isn't in a man's best interest to actually sign a contract where the other party is incentivized to break it. It's illogical. It doesn't make any sense. With that being real quick, let me finish my point.
Who can just take me to court and
let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Well, one is much differently. So just to answer that question, if you get married to a woman and she divorces you, not only can she get child support, but she can get alimony as well. So that's two different things. So if you are just in a relationship with the woman and
okay. I just want to stop that real quick because I'm very a stickler on premise and why things are being done. When you get married, you're not signing a contract. When you get married, you sign a license with the state that says you're married, which gives you access and her access to making certain decisions together or when you're unable to. The contract is all nonverbal through whatever religion you believe and what promises you're taking in the oath of the marriage. When you sign the license, it does not say, did you stipulate this point, this point, this point, this point on the fucking license? Doesn't say that at all. All it says is the legal person that's overseeing the marriage witness that you guys made a commitment to each other on this date, at this time, and this location, judged by the state of whatever that you're in, signed by both you and the party you're marrying. That's all a marriage license is. The reason these guys are saying contracts is because the contract is where? In the goddamn church or whatever religion you're in.
Because the contract is I will love, obey, and all that other stuff.
Where he is so wrong is he keeps saying the church when the church is the one that makes the rules on how you conduct your marriage. So where's the contract truly? With the state or within whatever religion that you're getting married under? And I rest my case.
You get married through the church.
No, hold up. You're right. Because he says getting married through the church or whatever. The contract that you're making, like you said, the contract is when you say, I will love, honor, obey through rich or through poor, through sick. That's the contract. Ain't the church, the state has said nothing. The state isn't, that's just a license.
Damn, as long as you pay your fee and file your license.
Exactly.
So they can take their taxes based on a family of two now instead of one.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And I wonder how he do on insurance, man. I don't know how I don't know. I think how does he do insurance for anyone if they're not married? But maybe
he does insurance.
No, when you have kids,
I'm saying he does insurance. He don't do no insurance.
No, I'm saying you have to kind of have insurance. So how are you insuring? I don't know.
He can pay for insurance without necessarily being the person that's the head of the household. You can just pay for insurance and you can claim. That's all based on tax filings. At the end of the, you can claim
like health insurance. You can do health insurance.
Yeah.
And you're not related.
No, well, he's going to file as a single or with his children. She's going to file as single with her children until they're married. They can't file together unless they're on taxes together. So if they're not filing together on taxes, then they have to have two separate insurance policies based on whoever their dependents are. Now, he can leave her as a beneficiary on an life insurance policy. But as far as the health insurance, no. He has to sign separate contracts and everything else saying that she has medical rights of attorney or rights of power based on the fact that he's injured. Go ahead.
I just wanted to address At Your Housewives all day. He said, no disrespect to the guys who got married in the yesteryears. Those dudes are good. I'm more speaking of the marriages in the now in 24. Marriage now makes no sense. So my question would be to you is, let's just go with your premise. Marriage makes no sense. Does having a baby with that same woman you wouldn't marry make sense?
Make any better sense?
Correct. He says that she can leave you and take half.
Yeah.
When does that happen?
After you go to court.
No, but I'm saying when is a woman going? If y'all In order for a woman to really take half of what you have, that means she has nothing. She has nothing and she's taking half. How many of you guys are marrying a woman who has nothing? Because usually if you're marrying, even the guy who makes some money, she's making money. And so she's not taking half of nothing. What is she taking half of? What are you paying that she's taking all this money for? Usually if you get a house, and say I get a house, I put the house in my name. The equity is what we build up. It's not just me building up. I'm hoping that if you're in a marriage and you're paying the mortgage, that she's contributing to something else, buying the food, buying something else. So maybe your money did go to the house, but she should have supported you in another way. So if you leave, yes, that's equity.
He's basically saying he would never do that. Basically, he said I would never get to that point. But I get what he's saying.
No, but again, so I understand what he's saying. If I was not going to have children, then why get married? That's correct. You know, if I'm like, I'm just old and we just doing our thing, okay, that's no problem. But I wouldn't have children with him either. And that solves my whole problem. I just have a living chick that we cool and we do our thing.
Well,
but I'm not going to be like
what everybody else is doing. If you don't want to take the chance of getting married to somebody, even after you vetted them, even after they've shown you everything supposedly that you look for in a vetted woman, and you feel like she's going to leave, the final test is to make her sign a prenup.
Yep. But I just wouldn't
make her sign a prenup. If y'all want to go through the rigmarole and the majesty of a formal wedding and all the, you know, the bells and whistles that come behind that, and y'all want to play house and all that, and you want to do that, and you can do it, just sign a fucking prenup before you do it. And you can do all the things you want to do and not have to worry about a damn thing. And then have the prenup go to even a trust when you die. So that way all your assets instantly gets put into your trust if there's not already sitting there. And your kids or whoever you deemed as the executor will run the rest of your assets for the rest of their days or whatever.
So my question at your wife's house, if you had a chick like who's a Beyonce, let's say somebody was J-Lo, who has some money.
You're not reading the chat, bro. He's already said I agree with you.
No, I'm saying if she has some money, you know, right now he's looking at it as though he's the one who's brought the money in. Would you marry a J-Lo or a Beyonce or somebody else who has the money?
Of course.
So I'm just curious. Would he say, nah, it ain't worth it? Is it worth it if you was the one?
It's worth it if it's the advantage of him. Absolutely. Everybody's going to look for the come up on that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying. So marriage is worth it if
she's suggesting
if you make the come up.
He basically said it. If she's suggesting it and she's got money, there are dudes who want marriage. That's cool. But for me in 2024 and any other man witnessing these craziness from females, I wouldn't suggest it himself. He wouldn't suggest people get married without protection, basically. And that's what I'm saying with the prenups and all that other stuff. Y'all need to go through legalities. And if a woman gets upset, oh, well, you're already looking for a way out. You goddamn right, because you already have a way out built into the fucking marriage.
Yeah. And I'm agreeing with you. I wouldn't get married not just getting married. If you don't plan to have children, don't even
Nobody
think about
plans on having children. You might have a oopsie.
Don't have an oopsie. It's worse having an oopsie.
Get drunk. They having oopsies all the time, bro.
Brother, it's worse having an oopsie with
day after pill. Y'all better have a whole bottle of them day after pills.
You have an oopsie with a chick you just met on a one night stand.
These dudes do it. They do it.
I know.
Stop it.
I know. No, I'm saying I know they do it, and that's the worst thing there is because that's the chick that take you.
Yeah, and you don't even know who she was. The next day you wake up, you could have had beer goggles on that day. She could have been some wildebeest. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, here's his answer with the J-Lo question. Pookies would gladly marry J-Lo. I don't need J-Lo because I am at the point in my life that I have J-Lo's comfort level and financial stability enough for my lifestyle. That's outstanding. That's a way to be right there. You could take it or leave it, and it's not a bit. Come on, man. Oprah, listen, I don't give a fuck how rich. Oprah is not cute to me. I couldn't even get in the room and even fake it with Oprah to even make her think I liked her. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't.
Man, I mean, I understand it. You know, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, even do Oprah with the money. There's nothing that's going to come out of it for me.
Demi Moore and
I mean,
Bruce.
she's going to take care of you anyway. She's taking care of Stedman. Stedman getting everything he needs.
Yeah, but Stedman probably ain't even in the bedroom, Brian. He's good with that. You know what I'm saying? He said Oprah is definitely not a 10. I agree with you there. Let's go ahead and get through this so we can open up the panel. We keep pushing the button at the same time. Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. You go. All right, I'll take it.
Church, the only thing that she can take is, well, depending on the state, if you're living with a woman for mad long, I think certain states, you do got to pay that woman some bread. But
wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop it. I know we just went into one sentence. You brought something up anyway. If you living with that woman in certain states, you automatically become a
common law marriage.
A common law marriage.
Sometimes it's 6 months. Sometimes it could be 2 years. It depends on the state.
Let me see. What states? I just want to look it up. So
all of them have common law rules. You don't even have to file for common law. It's just given. But go ahead. Run the
Colorado,
numbers.
Iowa, Kansas, Montana. You know, Texas does not require a marriage certificate to prove marriage exists. God dog.
And all you have to do is be together for a small period of time, too, and it's considered common law.
Yep. In Oklahoma, a common law marriage is created when a couple resides together with the intent of being married. Man, that means you just reside together.
Yeah.
In Iowa, common law marriage is recognized for the purpose of the support of dependents. So if you got a kid, if you with somebody,
and they got kids from somebody else, they can also be put on child support based on your income, and you will pay.
Man. One more. Colorado has recognized common law marriage since 1877 and does not require a license, a ceremony, or documentation. God.
So guess who's common law married right now that's sitting here telling you everything he won't do, but the law will make him recognize the fact that he's common law. Mr. Fugazi that's sitting there all smug, acting like he ain't married. He's common law married. He's been with this woman for years.
Man.
And don't even know the fucking laws, but he's saying he don't want the government in his business. This is how stupid some of these dudes are there on the internet.
Man. Oh, well, that's scary to me. Let's go.
There we go again. Push a button, man. Come on.
All right, bro.
You got the button theory.
the reality is that if you're only married through the church and you're not married through the state, the woman can't get any alimony. She can only get child support if you procreate with her and have kids with her.
Lies.
So the point is this. The point is me acknowledging truth. Here's what's facts, because I'm only going to speak that. Me acknowledging truth that women are incentivized to divorce a man, which means that it's not in a man's best interest to marry a woman via the state. That is a fact. That is a true fact. I'm never going against marriage. I am not secular.
We just broke down that is not a fact. That is not what the law says. And you're leading people delusionally into believing what the fuck you're saying.
Believe that people shouldn't get married or shouldn't strive for a holy spiritual, sacrament ceremony within God. You get what I'm saying? I think that that's a beautiful thing, and that would definitely happen with my situation as well. It just hasn't happened, right? But with that being said, it will happen. Like, I will get married through the church at some point in time. I will get.
Too late. You're already married by the government. You just fuck your shit up.
Married through the church. But at the end of the day, this is my life, and this is how I run my life as a man, right? I'm not asking you how you run your life. You want to go ahead and sign. Look, think about it. Are you married?
Yes.
So think about me. I would shame you right now. I could say, bro, you're not even masculine, bro. You freaking, what type of man signs a contract for a woman that's incentivized to break it? She could just wake up one morning and buy half. Like, I could think about this.
Incorrectly. I made
listen,
sure that
I'm not making no assumptions. No, we're just speaking about the facts real quick.
That is not a fact. You just said if you vet correctly and you marry somebody properly, then it's not a big deal. You just said I vetted correctly. You go, that's no, dude. You can't go back based on what you said 15, 20 minutes earlier and say that's not based on what he should have been doing. You should have been doing in your answer.
Real quick, I'm not making no assumptions that that your woman isn't a good woman. I'm not making those assumptions. Whatever your situation it is what it is. I'm just stating what's true. You did sign a contract, and that woman is incentivized to.
He signed a marriage license. That is not a contract. Yes, and that's so the state can tax you based on times 2 or 3 or however many kids you got along with that marriage. That's the legality part of what you do in statehood. But that's not a contract. Your contract is your promise. I mean, how many times can you be held to a promise without it being written on paper? That's why when you go through a divorce, the lawyers have to get into little legalese and side things because it's all verbal. Y'all didn't write it down and sign it. You signed a license.
Break it. That is true. You can't argue it. The only thing that you can do to me is make ad hominem attacks and make assumptions on things. That's the only thing that you can do.
I think you would be more at risk by having children with a bad woman than marrying the bad woman. That's why.
But still, look how you started the topic. I think that you put bad woman. You're assuming that someone.
Anyone.
Didn't he just say every woman you marry is not vetted properly and she's going to be bad because she's incentivized to get divorced, even though you sign a contract that incentivizes her to leave you? So basically his premise is every woman that you marry is bad. Why is he double talking himself?
Every woman has an incentive to leave.
Every woman has an incentive to leave, so why get married? That means they're all bad by your term.
And the question I was asking was about this. Can I put somebody like on my health insurance? And the word I was looking for is we have to be domestic partnership.
Right.
And that's kind of almost like saying we married, because remember,
the minute you say domestic partnership, you are married.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, who is having insurance?
Contracts all the time. Hello.
Yep. So that's why I was asking, do they have health insurance?
Well, see, yeah. He ain't going to make, like I said, he didn't halfway answer any questions you asked him directly. He's deferring, deflecting, and going back into adding and trying to lead the conversation away from him directly.
Mm-hmm. They would be more incentivized to get child support from you. That's why you have groupies or whomever get with the NBA guys, not for love. They don't marry those guys.
That isn't true. We see these tradcons that married up. What's the one tradcon? The wife just divorced him not too long ago. But we see these tradcons that are in relationships, are in marriages, Christian or Jewish marriages, and they're locked down with this woman for X amount of years. Then the relationship goes sour. And she was a good woman, actually a virgin. These virgins are leaving a man, right? It's because the thing is this: you have to understand woman. Why will we incentivize the weaker being that is more susceptible to outside influences? I'm not going to incentivize the being that is susceptible, that's more susceptible to outside influences. It is against the Bible. It is against any type of religion or any.
There goes that Bible thing, but watch, he's going to bring up he don't necessarily believe in it. But he throws it out there as a reference point just to make an argument. He says this in the argument.
Any type of logical epistemology truth. Like, it's just against all of that. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense.
Sir, fornication is against the Bible. But that's
yeah, for sure. For sure. Everything is.
You just spent time talking.
See how you're right. See how he brought up the Bible? But when you say, brother, you fornicating, then it's like, what? Go ahead.
Talking about black culture and all the rap and how bad it is. But black women have the most out of wedlock than anyone in the world at 72%. But you're contributing to the badness of the black culture by having children out of wedlock. So how can you say the culture is bad?
No, my woman is white. She's not black.
I'm saying in general. So your first child's mother was white?
No, she was mixed. But so
He always has to deflect instead of answering a question properly. Even jokingly.
He deflected.
It's a deflection from him being wrong.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
Come on.
He said, "God damn."
Come on, you're giving me Fugazi.
No, she was mixed. She wasn't.
All right, but not to get on a race, but when you have a child with a white woman, your children are still.
I'm just messing with you, man. I get what you. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Then admit the point and move the fuck on. He still hasn't admit to a point. He's just saying, "Yeah, I get what you're saying." He. But you ain't admitted to the fact that you still had children with women, whether they be black or not, that you're not with.
And you're contributing to the culture that you just said that was bad. Because you're saying the culture.
And you're fornicating when you're saying you're a Christian.
Yep.
I get what you're saying. I'm saying this, bro. As far as the whole you bringing up, you were just having a conversation about, the hip hop and, how it's, the culture is rotten. Wouldn't you say that you would be, on that same path of not really starting something that's, ground rooted in something that's, good? Well, we could say that about, I agree with what you said. Were you a virgin when you met your wife, and was she a virgin?
But what does that got to do with the question you asked him? But yet and still, he's deflecting and asking you what your relationship status was. You already had an older son. You already had a kid way before that whole situation with your wife currently. So what does that got to do with the price of tea in China when you ask him a direct question he still hasn't yet answered?
And you see, I go straight. I answer the question. I don't go back.
You went right to saying, I fornicated. Yeah, but you already had kids.
Yeah.
Ground rooted in something that's, good. Well, we could say that about, I agree with what you said. Were you a virgin when you met your wife, and was she a virgin?
But I don't talk religion. That's why I said I'm not going to bring religion in it. I'm
not when
in
we
it.
speak about
God, this,
yeah,
Bible,
but when
this, Bible, that. So I don't use Bible, so then I can't be considered a hypocrite. Because
I'm not either. So when we,
excuse me, sir. Yes, you are. If you're bringing the Bible up as an example, but yet and still you've broken every example of what Bibles that you're using, that is called hypocritical.
Exactly. That's exactly what I meant. You can't bring the Bible up and use it to benefit you, and then when somebody says,
somebody about the head and body with it, and then turn around and say, "Hey, I just brought it up, but I don't necessarily believe or use it, but I just use it as a
got you. I got you. When I'm speaking about biblical stuff and I'm using these things as an example, no one, bro, there's not a human being. I've said it many times on my podcast. Everyone is within sin. Everyone is a sinner. So with that being said, when I'm speaking biblically or I, quote a Bible verse, that's in the context of that conversation that I'm having. That's different than this conversation. Or I would use it as an example like I just used, meaning the example that I just used when I spoke about it's not in the Bible, it doesn't make sense, is illogical, meaning that I'm just saying that we have all of this history and years of proof that shows that incentivizing the gender that is more susceptible to outside influences is a stupid thing. Like, we don't incentivize them. Like, since they're more susceptible to outside influences, we need to protect and guide them and make sure those influences don't get to them. So if anything,
I'm sorry, everything he's saying right there, isn't that goes to the point of why we vet a woman before we get married?
That's what I kept
saying. So if
saying.
he's saying all these things that these women should not be wanting to do, you should be vetting to that point before you make a commitment to the woman to know that she's not going to do those things.
Mm-hmm. And even if you didn't, you put things in place. You put your prenuptial place. If it's about money, what did the soccer guy do? He put everything in his mama name. Okay, now
was smart as hell.
Yeah. Now you don't
hear about the older guy that went and filed for divorce way behind his wife, not even knowing that he filed for divorce.
20 years.
In Dominican Republic. So when she goes to file, he had already filed, and in Dominican Republic, you don't have to report the fact that you filed. So he was already divorced from the woman, just living with her.
Exactly. You're smart.
Diabolical.
We should be like, bro, I'm not signing this contract so you could be incentivized to leave. That's stupid. This is why.
More of an influence. Who is more of an influence, or who has more of a legacy? Meaning, you can leave your wife anytime, but your children are going to be there forever. So if you didn't marry the right woman, that influence that she's going to have on your children are long lasting. So
for sure, yeah. I mean, that's
someone that you don't feel that you can commit to. If that woman is going to do that to you, that means you didn't vet her correctly.
For sure. I mean, we have to say that maybe you didn't vet her correctly. Did Adam vet Eve?
Dude, that is a nonsensical question, as he puts it. Why would Adam have to have vet Eve when God created Eve?
That's what. Press play.
I'm just saying, what an idiot. Welcome, Black Man Travels on the second channel.
Correctly?
Yeah,
No, God just gave him to her. He didn't vet.
A little bit.
Sorry.
Welcome.
If that woman is going to do that to you, that means you didn't vet her.
I think he was right.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah.
Correctly.
For sure. I mean, we have to say that maybe you didn't vet her correctly. Did Adam vet Eve correctly?
God just gave him to her. He didn't vet.
He just gave him. So that
he
means
said, here goes your wife. So maybe God didn't vet correctly.
That proves my point even more. Is that even God couldn't stop Eve from biting that apple. So we can't stop a woman from leaving us, but then we got to sign a contract that incentivizes the woman to leave us. What I'm saying is this. Look, real quick. I got you real quick. Just understand this. This is the point that I'm landing home. It's nonsensical to sign a contract that the other party is incentivized to break it. Not only that the other party, from a biological standpoint, how they were created, how they were made, they're more susceptible to outside influences. Meaning that most of these divorces that happens, 70 to 80% of divorces, women initiate. They initiate. Why would you
procreate with a woman who can take your child away from you? What you're saying is she's incentivized. So if she's incentivized to leave you, that means she's incentivized to leave you with your child. That means you become a weekend warrior dad and you have no influence on the next generation. So why would you vet and procreate with that type of woman? If she's incentivized to leave you just because of your money, that means she's
missing the
incentivized
point.
to leave you to take you for child support. Am I correct?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Let me just still man your point. So you know that I understand you.
Yes, sir.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And you're going to put words in his mouth right now. But I'm going to read this statement. I'm at your wife's house all day. I hear him, though, when he says, I'm not signing no contract that gives you the right to leave at any time and can take resources from me. No man should do that. And again, I'm going to say, when you get married, you're making a verbal oratory commitment to that woman based on whatever religion the two of you are. You're only signing a marriage license so that the state or government can take taxes from you. They don't give two fucks whether y'all live together. That's all within the commitment of God and whatever religion you're in. The state has nothing to do with regulating how you live. The state has nothing to do with regulating your commitment to that woman. The state only goes to that point of a license so they can file and track you for tax.
And if you worried about the state, if the reason you're not getting married is because of the state, but you have a child, you just threw all of that out the window.
You fucked that up.
So my question to him, I know exactly what he's saying. He's saying, don't get married because the woman is incentivized. And I'm saying, okay, if she's incentivized to do it, just don't get married and don't procreate. Don't do either one.
Right. And why you bring up a great example of Ice-T and Coco, which she's fine as hell. Got great marriage, no paperwork involved, no binding government agreement, just love. But there's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who's going to get access to his resources? Is that baby.
Exactly.
His legacy.
And if he's the baby under 18, that woman gonna get access to them resources until that baby reach 18.
Hello. So that's a great example, but it still doesn't let him out of the loophole of the child having access through the parent, the mother, having access to your resources.
I want to chime in about the whole iced tea and cocoa.
Yeah, go ahead.
People want to use it as an example, but I bet you anything, if she were to leave him, she could still take him to court.
Oh, of course. They've been together way too long, far too long.
So this whole thing about, just get married, no government contract, no paperwork, that's bullshit. It's just a pipe dream. Because the thing is, she could still, whatever person you married to, they can still get access to your resources if they really wanted to.
Right. And at your wife's house all day, I already know. You ain't going to do it. You all the way against it. You ain't going to do it. You ain't never going to do it. You already in Patia, living your best life, brother. I already know you ain't thinking about none of this.
My thing is this, like, if marriage and children's not for you, shut the fuck up.
What? Come on, bro.
No, I mean, it's not towards anyone in particular, but just my thing when people always want to give their 2 cents. No, I'm just saying.
Are you drinking your port wine over there? Where you at, man?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not even drinking, man. I'm good. But I'm just saying, it's like I'm tired of giving 2 cents. No, I'm really tired of giving their 2 cents. If this shit ain't for you,
man, he's just messing around.
No, I'm not talking about dude. Wait, hold up. I don't even know this dude. I'm not talking about him directly.
Okay.
Just people in general that's constantly want to give their 2 cents. If marriage and having children is not for you, dude, shut the fuck up and go about your business. It's always
talking about Fugazi.
What happened?
You talking about Fugazi because he's talking about it.
Just people in general, guys. Just look, man. Listen, if y'all niggas sensitive, man, I don't know what to say. I'm talking in general terms. If people want to give their 2 cents, if marriage and having kids is not for you, then it's not for you. You have no say or but in the fucking conversation.
People always have a say. It's just
but
it doesn't involve them. We don't have to get upset.
I'm not getting married. I'm not having kids. Yet you're trying to persuade the next man to do that, even though this dude may want to have that.
You can inform them on, just like we inform them on why we would prefer to be married. Each of us have made our own choices. People can have their choice of why they prefer not to be married.
You guys being a little sensitive here, so I'm gonna shut up.
You guys, I ain't even said a word. Why am I ain't said nothing.
Like there's always 2 points. There's a gang.
You guys, taking it more like a personal attack.
Listen, bro.
I have not said one word. Don't put fear in the
I'm gonna stay quiet.
No,
hold up. You put fearless said nothing. I'm just listening.
Right. There's a yin and a yang to everything, man. There's always 2 points to everything. There's a positive and negative.
Fearless had no comment. I'm just listening.
Nobody's just an observer. You just blew up everybody. That's all.
No, I'm not. I didn't blow up anybody. I'm just speaking in general terms. I'm just saying that the ones who always feel like, hey, I'm not having a child, I'm not having a kid. All right, cool. Good for you. But the thing is, it's like you got a lot of guys that believe in that. They want to force your shit down your throat that, hey, you should follow me and do the same thing. That may not be the case for every man.
Right. And I agree with you.
My problem is this. This is my problem. My problem with Fugazi is he's telling men what not to do, and he's doing exactly what he's telling them not to do. That's where it becomes bad.
No, man, I can do it, but you can't. Do as I say, not as I do. Kind of like when you were
don't get with a single woman. I got with a single woman. No woman's exceptional, but no other woman is exceptional. I'm exceptional, and no man is exceptional. That's where where me and him don't have the same. We're not on the same path because everything he does is exceptional, and he's giving advice to everybody else to not do what he does, and you can't do it because he's exceptional, and that's just crazy. That's where the hypocritical part for me comes in, and that's what I'm
so we can get to the panel, man. I want to get this up here, man. Let's land this thing real quick.
Your argument is, well, there are laws that does incentivize the woman if she divorces you. So therefore, you need to vet properly and make sure you find the best woman a good woman with good morals and good values. So that if goes away. Pretty much what you're saying. Like that if is not going to happen.
No, the if never is going away.
Stop it right there. Stop right there. Stop.
Yeah, you just reduce the chances.
So stop it right there. That's the point that I'm speaking about. So now I still mean your argument. You know that I understand what you're saying. Now try to understand what I'm saying. That if never goes away. Mm-hmm. Never goes away. From a biological standpoint, God knows that that chick is more susceptible to outside influences. Everybody knows. The scientists know. Anybody in their right mind, you could just Google it. It's the truth, right? So why? The thing is now we know the truth about stuff. We know that we need to find a good woman, right? And we know that there are these laws that incentivizes women to leave. So even if we find a good woman, a great woman, that if is still going to be there, like you just admitted to. So this is what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about trying to mitigate risk. All this is trying to mitigate risk, right? When the woman isn't incentivized to leave you, what I'm saying is, nigga, you can take the if away by not signing the contract.
Dude,
No, you can't take the if away if a woman is incentivized.
My thing is like, why is he shifting all the blame towards a woman? Like, men are not, influenced either. Like, why does it seem so one-sided?
Because that's his whole conversation is one-sided.
Dude, it's like, I mean, come on, let's keep it a buck here, man. Most men, we're heavily inclined to keep more. We're more easily tempted. So it's like the thing that, she could be influenced. Shit, we're influenced every fucking day.
I agree.
So to ignore that part and just make it seem so one-sided, it's just like, man. Hey, shout out to you, Fearless, for having the patience, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I would have been cussed to do it out.
Let's get this last point out, and then we're going to end this video because he's
let it go. It shouldn't be that much longer.
Man, no. It's another.
Another what? Few minutes?
I think it's a whole another 10, 15 minutes the way it's running.
No, we good. I'll find out how long it is.
Kid is 24 years old. He still has back child support. They took all of his 401k. So the laws are still there. The laws are there. Either you're going to be a wife or she's going to take all your money anyway with your kids.
Wait,
there's guys that they take so much money, it's not even incentivized for them to work because they don't make enough to do it. So
you talking about child support.
That is correct.
Yeah,
so you keep saying it like this woman is going to leave you and that's the end all be all. But if your girl right now said, you know what, I'm going to leave you and I'm still going to take your money, you still lost. So you're saying it like I don't get married and that negated the circumstances. No, sir.
Not negate. It mitigates.
It does not mitigate risk once you have children. You just compounded your risk by having children because now you gave her another angle, another leverage pin to take more money from you.
Just to let you know, every time you stop, that puts another minute.
I understand, but I got everybody else on the panel that's coming.
Child support is more riskier than alimony.
Yes,
alimony ends after a certain number of years, agreed by the court. Child support is guaranteed 21 years, and it could actually increase each time you increase your lifestyle. Exactly. So the greater your lifestyle, that's definitely going to increase your child support.
Which means the more you're successful, and basically men are always going to
don't say that you have more than one kid.
Success the longer they're doing something.
That's even more. So dudes worrying about marriage, now you should be worried about that child support.
Go ahead, Obstacles. I know you've been waiting, brother. Unleash the...
We got about 6 more minutes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's play this. Then we can round it up.
It doesn't take it away, but it mitigates the risk. Like, what I'm trying to say is just thinking about it logically.
That's not logical.
We're not getting rid of, we're probably not going to even change the marriage laws, right? But all niggas want to bust a nut and leave a legacy, right? So it's like, all right, god dang, they ain't changing the laws on, child support. But what we do have power of controlling is signing that dang piece of paper so she don't double cook us. Because the alimony is the cook. The alimony is the cook. Like, you get half. That's the cook.
No,
The
but you can
child
protect against that with a prenuptial. You cannot,
but not
protect,
always.
You can pay child support no matter what. You ain't no prenuptial to stop you with child support, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Even with the prenup, I'm the exception because I got full custody, so I don't got to worry about that. But
here we go with that exception.
even with the prenup could still be contested. Like the prenup could still, anything could be contested in the.
Child support can't be contested. Only your child support
you just say stop pausing it.
My fault.
In the court of law, but the prenup, maybe not. It could be contested, and it could not be that strong to withhold up in court. So even with the prenup, I've seen many situations where a homie had a prenup, and it still ended up bad for him. He still had to pay half. So the prenup isn't even a full protection. The prenup does help. I would agree to that. So that's a part that we agree on. Okay, you can go ahead and sign that contract and you can get that prenup and make sure you got a good lawyer that written everything properly in there so you're secure. But even with that, it can still be contested. But yeah, man, I'll say that we really don't have an argument because I'm not against marriage. I'm just against the part where it's signing a contract. So I'm under the belief that we should try to change these laws because the laws is crazy. We should try to change the laws on, the alimony laws because it doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical. It was laws that started from pre-modernity when women weren't in the workforce and women weren't really in getting higher education, but they are getting higher education and they are in the workforce. So why do we have this crazy incentivization for them? And then, as far as the child support as well, I think those laws, we just had the guy Beans on. He was like, bro, I'm paying too much. It said that I only should pay this percentage, but they charging me this crazy percent. So
it's just gibberish.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. I don't want to hear the last of the gibberish. He's closing up his argument to try to make himself sound good. But it's all nonsensical bullshit. Yeah. But I want to hear what everybody's been waiting to say. And I know Obstacles always has a good point of view.
Yeah, let's knock him out.
I'm telling you, he's not going to say anything more beneficial than
the shit he's
already said.
When we're looking at things, this conversation is about mitigating risk. It's not about not having a good relationship with a woman and not having children, not having a nuclear family. I'm not against any of those things that's good. I'm just against that law. That's it. Yeah.
But the thing is, you're going to vet the man that dates or marries your daughter. And if he comes to you and he says, Mr. Fugazee, how you doing today, sir? I love her. We ain't getting married. I mean, she going to move in with me. We going to, we just going to do this thing spiritually. We're gonna have some kids. You're fine with that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna vet the mess out of them, and I will be 100%.
If he says we're not getting married, though.
Yeah, through the system, but through the spiritually and through a church, he's getting married. That's what you just stated. I'm fine with that. Yeah, the same thing that I will recommend for another man and for another woman, I will recommend for my own daughter. I don't think that that's bad. That's when I look at it, it's not anything bad. I think that if someone thinks it's bad, they've just been socially constructed to believe in some nonsense that doesn't add up, that doesn't really make sense.
I can't argue if you're saying that if you feel that way and you can feel that way for your daughter, then
for sure. For sure. So the thing is, my meta ethics is totally compatible with my normative ethics. So meaning the
here we go with all this psychobabble bullshit, and we want to listen to this. Come on, bro.
No, that was about it.
Thank you. Let me read this out real quick so I can answer this question. Vernon and Fearless, quick question: what is the paperwork signed after the I do's or said at the wedding, the contract paperwork Cooley is speaking on? There is no contract. It is a license that you have to file with the state after you get married. The providing person, whether it be a pastor or somebody else, signs the document in the back. It's a license, and you go and file that with the state. That's not a contract. It is a license paperwork to be filed with the state after you get married. And most of it is done pre-marriage. There's a lot of times you can go to City Hall and get the marriage certificate and everything, and then all you're doing is having the officiant sign after you guys get married, and you can file that to have it on record.
Correct. You're actually married before the ceremony.
Yes. So there's no paperwork like that. There's not a contract. There's a promise that's made verbally in front of a whole bunch of witnesses. But there is no contract. There's a license. And all the state wants to do by that license is tax your ass. But go ahead. I'm done.
So, guys, y'all see that my debate with Fugazee there. We both had our views. And I wanted to do this because I always want to reflect on what I said, what could have been said. Was I right? Was I wrong? You know, and just to reflect on it, because sometimes we live in an echo chamber and we only talk amongst ourselves. So I wanted to open it up to everyone else to say, hey, where did I go wrong? Where was he right? And what's your opinion?
Okay. Yeah, you're fully married before you actually go to the ceremony. The ceremony is just the pomp and circumstance. You already did that with the city when you filed the paperwork. But go ahead, Obstacles. Finally.
No, it's all good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah, good. First of all, both of you guys are low IQ. That's the problem. It's extremely, extremely low IQ. Nah, shout out to Fugazi. But at the end of the day, all right, so at least, yeah, the contract, y'all talked about a lot of things. So, but at least with the contract thing, it's a license. So it is binding in some shape, form, or fashion. And so I don't think it's really once you get a license and it's issued out and it's filed, there's other laws, whether it be federal or in the state, that talk about people who file license under that. So when it's come time for divorce, or maybe divorce with kids, now since you have this license, you have to go to this place to kind of, you know what I'm saying, change that arrangement and say, hey, we don't want this license to be married anymore. So not so much as a contract as a sales agreement contract, but it is a binding agreement once you're signing on that license. In the net, you can actually get a marriage contract, and then you can get a marriage certificate. So there's all these other things that you can do to declare that you two are together. What I think Fugazi was really just trying to say, in a bad way, is that everybody can have risk mitigation strategies. I think we need to have these conversations, period. I don't think it's bad. I don't think you need to shut up if you're not married or if you don't want kids, because people who are married, they're on the internet crying. You could shut up because you're married. Shut up and be happy wife, happy life. Everybody's just sharing their opinion and working through everything that's happening, right? So I think as far as with that, I think he was just trying to mitigate his risk. And of course, child support and alimony, that's for kids. And then you have, when you don't have kids, you're married, you have to worry about alimony and an estate. That's one thing. Then child support, that's for kids. So there's all these three factors you could say that will affect somebody if they're married with kids. But if you're just married without kids, then you still have two factors. And I'm assuming he's trying to mitigate his risk. And, you know, a lot of people always say, man, I want the government out of my business. So maybe that's one area where they want the government out of their business. But
who is over there blending up a good drink? Somebody's blending something up over there.
That's Buck right there. That's Buck. He's doing some housework.
It's kind of interesting. This guy does not have no risk whatsoever. He actually moved into a woman's house. He's piggyback off his woman. So this whole notion that he has all this to lose is complete bullshit. So it's like, yeah, you could go ahead and have a live stream talking about, hey, you want to mitigate risk. But what risk does the average man has? Typically, he gets married, he files for divorce, he pays for child support, or he pays alimony for a set number of years. But this whole notion that it's like, hey, don't get married, but it's okay to have kids. It's like, for one, you're creating a destructive family household by having fat kids outside of the marriage and being raised in separate homes. Speaking from experience. Then two is just like, hey, listen, I'm doing it because I'm a special case, but you guys should not be doing that. Like, where's the hypocrite behind that?
I don't think he was saying don't get married. He, again, state and then spiritual or otherwise. So that's when he clarified with him and Fearless.
The probability of people getting married based on...
Probably the best part would have been, I'm not doing it. I'm a hypocrite there. And then maybe just saying that, or not even hypocrite, I'm not living that life. I'm not living what I'm preaching in this aspect. And that happens a lot of times. You have
I bet
mentors
you
that give you
anything,
advice
this
and they're
guy
not
will
living
get
it,
married.
but they still
I
give
bet
you
you anything he's
advice.
gonna get married. I bet he's
He's
gonna get
going
you to
to
sign
get
that
married, you
contract.
said?
I bet.
I mean, he
I have
outright
Yeah,
a
that's
said,
okay.
listen, he
He
outright
no,
said
said
he'll
he
get it
no,
under
would
the
no,
current
eventually.
church.
He
no,
outright
no,
said
no,
eventually he will get married. He said that
no,
this
no,
year.
no. He will sign this so-called contract. I bet you he will do that.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, that's possible.
People
Anything's
always
possible.
have a
So,
right
yeah.
to change their mind.
Yeah,
In
right.
any
So that might
position and
happen.
stance that they have, they're always going to change
Okay.
they have a right to change their minds. But the point is, at this point, and why we're making a big deal about it is he has a whole separate life that he left outside of this No Fugazee podcast, where he's talking about all these different things of risk mitigation, dating and relationships, and then brings up the fact that, single moms are for entertainment purposes only and not to marry them. But then when the truth came out months or even a year after he started this whole side of his podcast, that he was already involved with a single mother of two and already had two children by this same single mother of two and had a whole separate life based against what he's preaching is the hypocritical part that everybody's flabbergasted over is the fact that you're sitting here saying one thing, but you're doing exactly the different thing. Now, I am a special case. I can get away with doing this. And my woman, who is a single mother, she's exceptional. So she's also outside of the realm of what I've been referencing for the last year. Instead of taking your L like a man and saying, I fucked up, I should have at least said I was involved in a single mother with a
Yeah, I
single
think that'd
mother
been better.
and I had children and being honest about it. You fucked around for a year and avoided even bringing it up, even though you said, oh, we had a whole YouTube channel. All you had to do was do a little research and find out. I think a disclaimer at best. A few times
Yeah, that,
every
I
other
think
week
that would have been
probably
that would have helped. That would have helped a
most
bit.
advisable
People
thing.
would still would have probably fried them, but
Right.
that would have helped a little bit.
Exactly.
But again, I don't think he was trying to hide it neither because it was public. Somebody didn't have to, do some forensic science or some cybersecurity. Like it wasn't that deep. It was right there available, but definitely not probably making it known and then having those positions on those short podcasts that really did not help the situation at all
Right.
in any shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
I mean,
So,
Fearless, are you saying something?
Yeah,
You
Fearless,
might
you're
be
muted as hell.
Sorry,
right
I put
now.
myself on mute.
I didn't know if he was on the cell phone, so I was like, maybe on the cell phone.
My issue was not about the marriage. I can understand that. My issue was if you're getting with a woman that you don't find value in marrying her, then you need to approach that woman with even more caution if you're going to have a child with her. Because if you get married, even if you get married and you get a divorce, your divorce always goes to child support court because they say, all right, the divorce is over. Now we got to talk about the children. And the children become involved where it's, custody.
And that is a
child
separate
support.
court. You have the division
Yeah.
of assets, and you have child support. Two separate courts.
And so my question was to him was, you put all this emphasis on the marriage. I got to vet this woman. I got to do all this thing to make sure this, I can't lose any of my money. And I was saying, well, man, you didn't put any of that same effort when you got with the first girl that you was with, because you got with a woman who was not even a good mother. She was not a good mother that you got full custody of that child.
Allegedly.
And in order for a man to get full custody, there's going to have to be something wrong with that woman.
Unless the woman doesn't want her or the
That's
child.
an allegedly. That's a big allegation. Yeah. So you have to put that on there. You don't know. Again, this is funny.
I disagree.
Let me offer this. Okay, go ahead. You go.
I disagree. I mean, listen, thank you, Fearless. Thank you, Fearless. Thank you so much for saying that. Obviously, look, I'm a father of 4 kids, man. And whenever a mother loses her child in custody battle and the father got full custody, it has to be the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. And more than likely, the mother was not carrying her weight or was unable to take care of that child. Hence why he has full custody. Because in most states, the most a guy gets 50%, unless he can prove to the courts that this woman is an unfit mother to raise that child.
Again, I don't know the situation.
The mother is dead.
So I could, again, you don't know the situation. You could say most probably, like the highest probability might be that, right? I mean, because there are other exceptions that I'm just saying you could speak on it, or not you, but I would just say high probability that the first woman was an X, Y, and Z. But I don't know
I can
because I
even
don't know
push
the
back
details
further
of it.
with my divorce. Like I told you, my wife stayed at home. She did not work. That means if she left the home, who was supporting her? The state supported her in her getting on her feet again.
But she wouldn't lose her child, though. But
I paid child support. I could have legally took over the children. I would have been the better choice.
now, technically, you have to prove. No, not technically. You have to prove the point that she's the unfit mother to raise that child.
Exactly.
That's a fact. That's a fucking fact.
That
no, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because more than likely, if she becomes a single mother by the state, she could get funding by the state. And trust me, wait, hold on. And trust me, you will have more child support to pay.
Bro, I went through this whole system. You're not telling me nothing I don't already know. I went through the whole social services. I paid my 18, 20 years worth of that shit. I understand how the system works. You're not telling me nothing I don't already know or have not experienced.
But the likelihood of a woman losing the custody of that child is always 99.9% chance is that she was the unfit mother.
Every day.
Hold up, and I'll tell you also something, Ronan. If you are not married, and even in Texas, the unmarried mother is usually automatically granted full legal and physical custody of the child. When you're not married, she automatically gets custody. She's automatically full. So you have to prove something is wrong with her to take that custody away. They're not just going to say, "Oh, you make more money." That means nothing. She can even be down and out. She can be on welfare, not working, and destitute, and you can still say, "I got more to offer."
That's not necessarily true anymore.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true.
The laws have changed significantly.
Brother, what law? Please tell me what law.
Yeah, please tell us what law. Please.
Did you not even listen?
Yeah, we are listening. The thing is, you're not being realistic here.
Let me get it out. Let me get it out. Do you not know the laws just changed on a woman even accusing a man of being the father of a child without a blood work being done? Why do you? That's a whole different scenario. Let me finish. So why do you think there are mandatory blood test laws now in a lot of states when a woman?
Hold on. Where is there a state where there's mandatory blood?
Let me finish.
What state?
Let me finish, and then I can look it up and Google it for you. But there's been at least 7 states, up to 23 states right now that has a felony.
No state in the I'm looking at it right now. No state in the United States requires mandatory paternity tests.
Is it considered a felony for a woman claiming that the father?
But that has nothing to do with the topic we were talking about before.
I said the laws are changing. Y'all are not letting.
We're talking about the woman getting custody.
And you say the laws are changing.
They are changing.
Where is the law changed right now in California? And I talked about this. In California, the law assumes that the husband.
Why the fuck can I not get a word in between the two of you? I just
tell us. Tell us.
If both of y'all are talking at the same goddamn time, when do I get a chance to talk?
All right, go ahead, tell us.
Y'all are stacking each other. Okay, so there are new laws in place right now that causes a woman not to file illegal claims through social services to say somebody's the baby daddy and they don't know. They can actually go to jail for this. It's a felony. North Carolina, I think even Texas is also a state that also recognizes if a woman falsely accuses a man of fathering their child and is not proven to be their child, the woman is legally responsible and can go to jail under a felony charge. There are laws that just changed in 2022 that are in effect. That means
but what law? That law has nothing to do with it.
Let me finish. That means the laws are now being a little more caring towards the father that is sometimes innocent and the fact that this mother has given birth. This is what I'm saying is a natural transition from the ways the old ways were to the new ways. Y'all ain't giving it.
Okay, let's take a step back. We were talking about the likelihood of the father getting full custody based on the father's birth.
Global has got 50% custody of his child.
Yes, that's
he's still paying child support. What do you mean?
He's still paying child support.
It still got lowered once they realized what was going on.
But he's still hold up. He don't have. You just made my point. You just made my point. He got 50. Hold up. He got 50, and he's still paying child support.
About her income, and the judge saw the mother lied, so he changed it.
He got no income and he's still paying $100 a month. What you talking about?
The mother lied.
He has no income. He has no job and he's still paying child support.
The mother lied and then she's not held accountable. This is
you just hold up. You didn't answer my question. You being Fugazi. He has no income.
I'm talking about with women not being held accountable. I'm telling you, the laws are changing and women are being held accountable.
We didn't talk about that initially, Roland. We didn't talk about that initially. We talked about the likelihood that the father will get full custody is more than likely if the mother is considered unfit. That's the likelihood that decision has been made.
Go ahead, obstacles, real quick. While I look,
They're
both there.
Go ahead. It's a high likelihood. You could say that. I'm not, because I'm pretty sure it might be exception, especially when the father gets his child 100%. But again, the mother might signed it over for reasons that she thought were good for her and was better for the child. Women can do that too, some small amount. So again, the probability might be, it was bad. But from what he said, unless you're saying he's lying, he said it wasn't because she was bad. But of course, we would have to get the details. So I don't think that's a big thing that I want to go back and forth on just because I ain't got no information on it. Like, it's that simple. I can speculate, but I would also just offer it's a speculation at the end of the day. It's not what it is for sure. But I just think, again, he's just trying to mitigate his risk the best way he thinks he can do that. And the next man says, I don't agree with that. I'm going to marry the girl. I'm also going to have kids with her, and I'm not worried about it because I chose her, and I think she's different, and I think that she's special, and she's not going to do any of these things, which is divorce me or take my children or ask for only alimony or take me to court. Because, again, the courts don't come to her. She goes to the courts. So anybody talking about they're facing all these problems with children, alimony, and divorce court, most of the time your wife takes you there. So it could be dealt with in your household. So, again, majority of people have to just take that into consideration. But I think that's just about it. He just had a technique
right now, and it said in 2018, the data approximately said 80% of custodial parents were mothers, while fathers accounted for about 20%. It is now going up to 33%, but it further goes on to say it is noteworthy that some states have moved towards equitable custody arrangements. For instance, 20 states now allocate fathers 50% custodial time, reflecting in a trend towards sharing parenting.
So answer me this.
Boom.
No, it's not boom, because this is how it goes. It doesn't matter if you have 50-50. There's always somebody who is called the custodial parent. That means they have all the responsibility. Me and my wife can have 50-50 custody, 50-50. But there is a custodial parent, the one who's always in charge. Also, who is paying child support? If I have my child 7 days a week, you have him 7 days a week, just like HB, why does he still pay child support?
That's up to him and who he has as a lawyer.
It always goes like that.
No, it works that way. And again, at first, let me just share my personal story. You know, I was divorced. We got 50-50 custody. In the state of Florida, you're required to do a DNA test. So, all right, cool. Once you are the father of that child or children, you instantly get 50% between the mother and the father. However, the mother will have custodial rights. Hence why I have to pay child support. She doesn't pay child support. I have to pay. But it's not as much because we came to an agreement that, hey, listen, I agree that I'm going to pay this amount of month. Each month, I'm going to take care of all the school clothes, school supplies and everything else. But typically, it's 50-50, and there's one custodial parent. And that's where that child's going to live majority of the time. Exactly. Most likely with the mother, and hence why you pay child support.
Exactly.
Well, I would also add on to that. I think the nugget out of it is if you're married to a woman or have kids with women, you guys need to establish your paternity. Because I see that's the issue even when I'm looking at states that do recognize dual custody from the jump. You're in a better position, but you already have that done and thrown out the window. You know it's your kid. Because that's the only part where it comes in the courts. What I see is you got to fight uphill to get that access once you're in a divorce situation or a separation situation. So be proactive and certify.
Let me even help you out where that's wrong. In the state of California, if me and my wife are married, I am assumed the father. That means if she goes out and she has a baby outside of me, that doesn't matter because the baby was done through marriage. I am still responsible for that child support.
Yeah, but what's that got to do? All right, every other state then.
No, most state, other states are like
see
that.
what I'm
Other states are like that. Let's go with Michigan. Michigan says that if I was put on child support, and I'll take what you said, you got to get a DNA test. But say I'm married, I'm put on child support, and I've assumed the fathering of that child. Later on, 2 years later, or if I'm the boyfriend and I started paying child support, because I thought, hey, this has to be my child. Later on, I find out that is not my child. The court will say, hold up, sir, you have assumed the parental responsibility. You're going to continue to pay child support for the child that isn't yours.
Hence why it's important to certify your paternity.
But let me say this. Let me follow up with the question you guys asked. I had to go back and ask ChatGPT to give me the answer. Of course, the non-custodial parent, who is the one that has primary custody of the child, spends the most time with the child, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Income considerations when it comes to who pays child support. Child support is calculated based on both parents' income. In many jurisdictions, the parent earning more money may pay a higher share, even in joint custody arrangements. If both parents have equal custody of 50-50, the higher earning parent might still pay child support to balance the financial resources of the child. That means if y'all both earning the same amount of money.
No, why don't you put that in? You just made an assumption.
No, that's not.
Hold up. You didn't say that. Put that in. If both parents are making the same amount.
Let me read it.
If both parents make the same amount of money, somebody's still paying child support.
Let me read it again because you missed it. If both parents have equal custody of 50-50, the higher earning parent might still pay child support to balance the financial resource for the child. The higher earner. You're the higher earner, you're going to pay more. That's why you're paying, even if it's 50-50. If she was a higher earner, like some movie stars that have their significant others with full custody and they're getting paid child support, even though he's a man, then he would get the damn child support and he would have custody. So
I'm just looking at the question you asked.
Listen, it does reflect on the judicial system and who's sitting behind that fucking bench at the time. And it has everything to do with what fucking lawyer you have when you go to battle for your child. That's a fact.
I guess you have not listened to the lead attorney, who is a divorce attorney.
He doesn't make him right on every case. He sits in front of so many, but that doesn't make him a legal expert on every case and every situation. Because at the end of the day, he's just the attorney. Who makes the decision is the judge. And I just said it's up to whoever's behind the bench. It doesn't matter. It's who sits behind the bench and what ethics she's going to use in order to make the determination on which parent she's going to give that child to. And it could be multiple different factors and variants on what that judge is thinking at the time. Doesn't have to be any one rhyme or reason. It's up to that judge at the time that's making the decision.
But that's also divorce court he was in. Like, this is family court for the kids.
Family court and divorce court, two different things.
And then the prenup,
there's a division of assets and there's the child support. Two different things.
Actually, kindly, this might a little hurt Fugazi's position, but actually the one thing you can mitigate a little bit more and have more control between you and your wife is the marriage. For, say, the kids, it's uncontrollable. I looked it up. There's no contract really you can actually, construct between you and your wife about the arrangement with the kids. It's all, hey, if we get divorced, we go to the courts and we deal with it because they said they believe it's situational. But for the marriage, you can definitely, kind of talk about the assets, the allocation of it. Is there going to be an alimony? So you can have more control and establish that. But most guys, let's be honest, they're not fearless. They're fearful, and they don't ask for alimonies or postnups. And again,
because they think it's embarrassing to ask for help. They're already on the obligation that's on them.
And what I say is most of the time, new fathers, people who want to be new husbands, look, don't come at an angle talking about, I want a prenup so you can get screwed. And I don't think most people are really trying to say that neither. But what you should angle it as is, hey, look, we want to control our house. I said it's God, man, and women and children. If that be the case, then there's no reason that I should have no legislation, no documentations about what would happen in the event that we separate. What would happen in the event that I pass away, you pass away? What happens in the event? So you need to mark that up with a prenup, and then you can do a postnup. So again, you can always take custody of your state, but blaming the courts, I would say that's like a victimhood thing that men do. Like, my bro, if you did the prenup and postnup, there would be no blame game at that point. The judges and the lawyers are doing nothing but their job. You're bringing your garbage that you didn't even sign out and sort in your own life between you and your wife to them. Remember, the court is dealing with you. You want to get divorced?
Right.
The court's like,
he's absolutely
what's the
correct.
arrangement? How many kids you got? What's going on? And you're like, well, she left and she's sleeping with him. And then they're like, whoa, slow down. What's going on? So you're bringing your personal drama, and you have no legislation and documentation as a foundation for your empire, your legacy. So again, it's even like things you probably say, Ronan: insurance, will planning, estate planning. You're a legacy creator. You have to do that. So postnup and prenup is your way to do that and take more control over your family versus the society.
My issue is this. That sounds great for marriage. You've done everything that you said as a person who is protecting themselves with marriage. Fugazi isn't married, so none of those things apply.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. You're using
so
an
I'm saying
idiot
none of those
as an
things
example.
apply. And the issue becomes, a lot of guys will do all of the things that you're saying when it comes to marriage, and then sleep with a thought and get her pregnant, which throws all of the planning, the estate, the legacy out of the window.
All these things. Listen, he's an idiot for knowing all these things and going against his better fucking judgment. And that's why I always reinforce a lot of the things I say with getting a trust, setting up a trust, put your shit into a trust, put your assets into a trust, put your life insurance into a trust, protect yourself at all times. Just like when you get in a fucking ring, you don't know which way you're going to get swung at. And you ain't guaranteed to wake up the next goddamn day. So even if you haven't done it yet, you need to.
Well, I think maybe I know Fearless said this, and you probably said it in the past, Ronan, but maybe most men don't say this. I always tell guys, I'm looking for a gold digger. I'm a gold digger. And people be like, what do you mean? I'm a gold digger. Meaning that even though I have money, I'm smart enough to know that I don't want to just marry anybody. And most guys have this notion, oh, hey, I got money, and this is new money. Like, this will be new money saying this usually, right? Like, somebody just got 6 figures or just made a meal or something. They're like, and even richer people do it, but they're like, I could marry anybody. The girl at Starbucks, the girl over here. For me, never. No. Because if you said you're creating an empire, Genghis Khan just didn't marry anybody. He married a woman that gave him connections to other tribes that allowed him to conquer other lands. So Julius Caesar, he didn't just marry the girl from the bread because she had a fatty or because, oh, I don't care, I got all the money. He made it a concubine, right? But he didn't make her wife. And I think guys don't have much information about that, like understanding that it does matter. Your girl needs to be financially literate beyond looking good and the things that she needs to be a mother. She needs to be a mother that knows how to take care of your finances if you fall sick. So you got to look for somebody who's equally yoked in these things for marriage.
Point of vetting.
For marriage.
Prime reason why you vet. It's not you're vetting just to make sure she's trustworthy. You're vetting because you're also giving her access to your resources that you took all the years to build. So when you're vetting, you should be vetting financially to see if the woman can actually handle being in that, because you're changing her life. Think about this. You're marrying a woman from overseas that's probably not used to a lot of wealth and in the way that we make money here in the United States. So you're instantly going to give her a different lifestyle change the minute you marry her, depending on where you met her at. Okay. So one, she's got to be able to handle lifestyle change, the increase of available income, and all the things that come with that newfound wealth, new money. Okay. Well, is she an asset or is she going to be a liability? Is she just going to spend the money because she has no knowledge on financial, anything financial, on how to actually utilize money, whether it's something you want versus something you need? Does she know any of those things?
No,
did you train her on those things? Or are you going to just let her buck wild into your account and fuck all your shit up that you took years to grow?
The greatest.
That's where dudes don't know how to control their women. They sit there and let these women haggle the fuck out of them and bleed their fucking savings dry and don't ever get the reins on these women. Those are the dudes that never really vetted. And those women will run them dry in a matter of years. They will have no resources, no nothing, and they'll wind up being stuck in those countries fucking flat broke because they had no self-control and they knew not how to control the woman they were with, meaning they didn't vet them right.
the greatest business decision you make is who you marry.
Absolutely.
That can make you, break you, all of those things. So that's why I say you have to be careful. And I'm agreeing with you. Obstacles. Marrying, you got money and you married a McDonald's girl. That really ain't helping you out in no way. I'm wondering, how does she help you out?
Unless she was a McDonald's girl that went to college and had a degree, but that's where you met her at. She was still going to college and at McDonald's working. Again.
Yeah, correct. I'm saying, but usually a girl who just you can't really take her to a business meeting because she's not.
You can't talk. Yeah, you're not a mouthpiece, right?
Yeah, and that's why I say my thing with I don't want to skip into Travis Hunter's girl, but you need to have a girl around you that you can go one way and she can go the other way and be talking to the room.
Exactly.
She can be bringing you money. She can be
I
bringing
said
you
this
assets.
in a room like more than a week ago.
Yep.
I said you should have a woman where y'all can work the room and she's bringing business to you at the end of the day because she's making connections just like you are.
So she's either making those connections, or with him, it's like losing the connections. Like, I don't know if I want to work with him because of her. And that's when it becomes bad. So
yeah, absolutely. But again, if Fugazee is who he said he is, and he's supposed to be such a strong man, he should have been able to vet this woman to know that she should be trustworthy, especially after having a couple kids with her, to say that I'm going to go ahead and commit to a marriage.
But what scares me is the person who was with her before didn't do it. So it's like that guy didn't do it. And it's like, well, okay, why didn't he marry her?
But to be
fair, like, why isn't Fugazi married?
To be fair, everybody changes and grows with knowledge and time. Maybe she was just young, dumb, and out there wanting to be buck wild. She had the 2 kids by the guy, just like we were young, dumb, and we went buck wild. That's
but
not that we didn't change.
She was young,
we
dumb.
Don't know. Right.
She was young, dumb, and all that with the first guy.
Right.
So with the second guy, she should have been like, I learned my lesson from the first guy. Now I'm not going to put myself in the same position going forward.
But we got guys doing the same goddamn thing. They out here just impregnating every goddamn thing that moves. Not putting condoms on. Going raw. Going ham. And they got 3 and 5 kids. There's just as many dudes out there. Matter of fact, we already know the statistics. 80% of the women that are being pregnant are pregnant by the same 20% of men. So these dudes are repeating the action over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So who's wrong? Them? Us? Or both?
Yeah. But at your wife's house, you're right. On Kendra G, there was a woman who said the doctor. She got with a guy.
Yeah, doctor wasn't aggressive enough. Yeah.
Is
that all? God damn.
That's all you are as a doctor?
A doctor.
And Kendra was like, he worked 12 years. He got his law thing. What do you mean? She's like, well, I need somebody that does more than just being a doctor. I mean.
And she think doing hair is something aggressive, like she a boss bitch because she has a hair salon. So, you are not making that kind of money, lady.
So there's women out there, guys, it doesn't matter what you have, man. They think that.
By the way, just to let you know, most women that work in the hair industry wind up getting cancer from all the chemicals they put in the hair because they don't wear the proper protective breathing apparatuses and everything else when they're around those chemicals to do everybody's hair. So as an insurance guy, I'm telling you right now, a lady that does hair is not necessarily going to live a long life.
She'll be unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know, guys.
A bum telling the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you don't qualify for her, when she don't qualify for no man or worth. Facts.
The guys out there, they doing it. They are. Look, there's a fool born every day, and a fool and his money will soon be parted.
Yeah.
And those guys are parting with their money. When did that debate
When did the debate happen? Was it about a week or so ago? About a week and a half ago?
Yep.
He was on the tail end of True. He was on the tail end of a long podcast and it was basically him addressing some of the things that O'Shea had brought out about him being hypocritical and his lifestyle. He was addressing a lot of people on an open mic night, and he left Fearless in the back until damn near the last person. He was the last person, actually, before he closed out the show.
And I think he actually deleted that live because somebody was asking me for it, and I think he deleted it.
Yeah, because everybody in the chat was saying he was scared of you.
So
that's why I was like, "What the fuck?"
I wish we could find it, but he deleted that one. He didn't like that. So. Crazy.
Here's the thing. I had a poll up in my room. It says, "If is No Fugazee capping and his about his real life?" Of all the people that answered, 93% said yes, he's been capping about his life, and only 7% said no. So yeah, and that's the thing we're finding out. A lot of these guys that are influencers live a double life. They project one thing, but they're actually living another life, and that goes true on a lot of different things, politics and everything else. So it's not like it's just one person doing it. It's a lot of people doing that. What was it back in the day? Fake it till you made it.
Mm-hmm.
Fake it like you're successful until you actually are, if you ever get there, and hope to God nobody finds out before. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's done it, but the whole point is, when you go to the extreme of saying everything that you are and say you should not be.
Yeah, and I know I ended it on, just basically almost in a sense, I would say agreeing with him. It just got to the point where if he said, wait, my daughter's fine with not marrying somebody. I was like, why keep arguing with a guy who's going to have that theory where he says, I don't even want my daughter to get married.
Or the theory like he's going to be able to control his daughter's choice and who she marries in the future.
Correct.
That
I just thought he would be
nowhere in the United States.
And he says that, but given a choice, that wouldn't happen. If his daughter comes home, like, yeah, I'm going to move in with this guy and we're just going to shack up and do this. He would have a different conversation with her. But, he's saying this.
But at the end of the day, it's still her choice and she's going to do what the fuck she wants. She's old enough.
That's cool.
It doesn't need his permission. Long are the days gone that you can have arranged marriages in the United States. You got to go overseas, like I said earlier about that.
Better be as I said before, man. The do as I do and don't do as I say do never works. Never works. Your children look.
How many rebellious kids out there nowadays, man? Tell their mothers straight the fuck off, and fathers too.
So I don't know. So obstacles. You get married?
Never. The only way I would marry is what is it? The daughter from Hawaii wanted to marry me. Like I got to level up, man. I'll never level parallel.
Right. She's got to be an asset or a resource. Yeah.
No, I mean no, not even that. Because somebody be like, yeah, she got a degree. No, I ain't talking no degree.
That's not that.
She got to have a dynasty. But
he says she got to make him wealthy, not just rich.
No, see, you don't understand about military guys. There's a lot of us that get offered opportunities with people overseas and women. Their fathers are well connected. Obstacles had a situation where he had a father that was well connected, was trying to give him a whole apartment building full of people.
Yeah, I was stupid back then, for sure.
A whole apartment complex as a gift. I'm like, yo. I knew a guy that was in the Navy. He got married to the president of Mitsubishi back in the day. He got married to his daughter. He was a black Navy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there, all the time when you go to Australia, they have adopt a Marine, adopt a sailor. And the purpose of those Marines and sailors when they get off the ship was just to have fun. But the parents had an alternate purpose. They were very successful people, and they wanted their daughters to marry American men. So the bribe was for the 2 weeks they were in port, they were trying to get those sons or those men to fall in love with their daughters so they can marry their daughters. A lot of it happens. Most of the times, a lot of these dudes wind up getting married to these Australian chicks. Australian women are bad as fuck, but their men are assholes. And that's why they don't want those men to marry their daughters.
And if I think a little bit different on my account too. If I get married, it would be something that my woman only seeks protection out of me, not provision. I don't agree on the provision aspect to it, because it's like we're hunter gatherers. We both fend for ourselves. It's not men only. So I think that that's just what other people do. That's good for them. But for me, negative. Because I be seeing my guys, man. I know them. They got money, but they be sweating bullets when their wife goes on Amazon.
I have to
I'm like,
agree.
You need to put that girl to work.
I have to agree with you, because my girl, she comes off of a farm. She knows how to plant, grow food. You know.
Yeah,
She'll
I mean, that's
slaughter
how
a
most of the
fucking
world
chicken
is.
quick as
Everybody
shit.
works.
She knows how to slaughter pigs, chickens.
Yeah.
She can get the business on the farm, right? So there you go.
Only in the upper classes do you see where women are like, most of them are kind of like, I don't want to work. Like most people work in the world and still do mother duties. Like they don't get out of it just because they had to work. So I mean, I never seen the reason. But the girls I dated never did that. They were never like that. They worked. They said, "Yeah, I'm a competent."
I don't know
grown,
who came up
mature
with
adult.
that push. I don't know who came up with that push gift bullshit, but that's some bullshit. You getting a push gift for giving birth to something you were supposed to be. That's the whole reason you're here.
Man.
Your wound is not active until we put the seed in you. That one extra chromosome is what starts the whole life process. Other than that, that egg that you're giving up is dead.
Mm-hmm. Guys, they still been fooled. So I don't, I think I'm in agreement with obstacles. You really have to make sure that your person is some kind of asset. Man. That she has to. I don't know how guys get with women who just have nothing and they're just taking. That just has to be so stressful. That's just crazy. Where they have, but those are usually the women who have not either worked, they haven't gone through, they haven't had their own thing, so they don't know the value of money. I see some, short with the girls like, oh, the dude got to make money because I'm going to Whole Foods all the time, and I got to have organic this, and you're like, are you buying that for yourself right now? And most of the time they not. It's like, why am I coming into your life just to get you to get some Whole Foods? You making it come up. I need to make it come up.
At your wife all day. He's in rare form today, man. Marriage is still a goal in life worth going for if you have fully vetted the lady. But I knew her for only 6 months, chicks, ain't it? Fear factor time, fellas.
Exactly.
Yeah, I ain't doing it. Bum giving orders to an establishment. It's nasty work. The problem with that, truly, is the man that actually is established that would actually take the fucking advice of the bum. That's his own fucking fault.
Yep.
And a weak-minded man at that. After all the things you did to achieve, you're going to let somebody like that try to run your life? For some trim that you can get from multiple different other type of choices? Hell no. That's his fault.
Brothers, we have been hitting this for about 2.5 hours, man. This has been great. A lively conversation. Ups, downs, in and outs. Marriage, don't marriage. Kids and don't kids. So that's how we like to put you on a Friday night, man, where you going out to the club and you're going to have second thoughts. When you bring that what you thought was a 10 home and find out she's a 2, you're going to make sure you pull out a double strap on because we found out it might not be worth it. So we appreciate everyone joining in. Thanks for people coming up to the panel. Thanks, Obstacles.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, brother.
Yep. Join us next week for the same time, same place, same crazy conversation.
I'll shoot you over that thumbnail if you want to hang your own thing on top of it.
Yes, sir. Fellas, it was a great one. Until next time, be safe. We'll talk before the new year. So, to the crowd out there,
we still got one more in us before the new year, don't we?
Yeah.
When's the New Year's fall?
Thursday or Wednesday, I think. So, hopefully, we'll talk to you guys before next year. If not, have a wonderful, it's been a great 2024. We appreciate all of your support. just make sure you come in and give us some likes, subscribe, and
especially if you're on
comments.
the replay, please hit the like button and then make a comment in the comments section about what you think, if Fugazi was actually Fugazi in it, or if you heard some gems coming from him. I'd like to know.
Good night. Good luck. Next time.